Good morning, Vietnam. Tour Cruise here, checking in with Tuan Chan.
Hi.
We're on day one here of our bike packing trip here in central Vietnam. So here's a quick little preview of our course. We're gonna be cycling over 600 kilometers and I think over 7,000 meters of climbing. So we've got a lot of big days ahead of us. We're starting here by the beach in Da Nang. This is Tuan Chan's road bike, so she's got more of a bike packing setup. We changed our minds again and we decided to go with the large rear saddlebag. Unfortunately, when we started with the inner frame bag with Tuang, it had a little bit of a thigh rub with her, so this way we can carry a little bit more luggage anyway, so we'll have her carry her more fair share. So it's a beautiful hot day by the beach. It's actually crazy hot. It's like, I don't know, it's already like 33 degrees Celsius plus the heat index. It probably feels like 38, 40 right now. And it's 9 a.m. right now. This is my first morning ride in the last few months since I came back to Vietnam. I'm usually an afternoon rider, so it's kind of weird having to put sunscreen back on. But anyway, here's my bike setup. I decided to go with a slightly more aero profile, so only using one of the pannier bags on the side. And I moved this bag, which was supposed to be up in the front, and just took the dry bag off of it and placed it on the rear rack. So I think that will give me a little bit more of an aero profile, and I put some of the heavier items inside that bag so it's more centered on the bike. I've got my large frame bag and my top tube bag, so no weight up front. It's a little bit rear heavy, but so far on the test ride over here, it felt pretty good. Because of the extra distance on the route, we decided to go with our road pedals. I don't think we're doing too much walking, and if we do need to do some walking, we've got our sandals. Tung's got her strapped on right here, so no issues there, hopefully. And we got an extra long day in the saddle today. We've got 160 kilometers to go. We can't stay here too long. We got to get going. We got to get a few pictures for the Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram at Tuo Cruise, and Tung also has her own Instagram, which she updates more often than I do. So check out hers, Tung Cycling. All right, you ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
So for the beginning of the tour, we're cycling down the coast. These first few roads we're pretty used to because we live in Da Nang. We're pretty used to these roads. We're starting our first session of the route down to Hoi An. We haven't eaten breakfast yet, so it's about a 40-minute ride there, hopefully. And we're gonna stop at a pretty cool cycling cafe and get some food there and fuel up. The first part of the ride is the most chaotic just because you're dealing with all the tourists here in Da Nang, everyone going to the beach. And so the roads are a little bit chaotic here, but as we start to make our way to Hoi An, it should get gradually better and better. And once we pass Hoi An, it'll be a lot better. We've got our masks on now though, because there's really bad exhaust and pollution from all the bikes and trucks here. So we try to wear our masks when we're in those kinds of environments. We don't want to breathe in those toxic fumes, though it does make you feel a little extra hot. So we don't like to wear them for too long when it's this hot and humid out. Tung looks like she's doing pretty good with the large saddlebag though. How's the saddlebag?
It's okay.
It's okay? Not moving too much?
Yeah.
One of the cool things in between Da Nang and Hoi An is they've got a bunch of these marble statues. There's also Marble Mountain in between, which is a cool tourist spot and always cool to pass by. Some of these statues are like really massive, and there's a bunch of shops selling them along the street, but we still got a little bit of traffic until we pass the Hoi An area. I'm not used to the traffic this time of day. We normally ride in the evening, the afternoon, but we're holding a pretty good pace so far. So I'm holding about 160 watts average. I'm trying to keep our heart rate a bit lower. So my heart rate right now is between like 110 and 125. And Tung's is usually a little higher than mine, so she's about 130. So we're trying to keep her heart rate down, especially so we don't waste too much energy. These are gonna be long zone 1, zone 2 kind of days. And normally our longest ride is like 3 or 4 hours, so doing a couple back-to-back 6-hour rides is gonna be pretty tough. That's why we're going nice and slow and steady. And on the cycling computer, it's also showing 36 degrees. So definitely hot out today. One of our main goals for the cycling trip is to cycle into the highlands, into Mang Den, which is at elevation profile over 1,000 meters. So we're hoping we're gonna get some nice cooler weather there. I'll believe it when I see it. And yeah, just endless marble statues. Would love to get one of these for our house. I'm pretty sure these will be pretty expensive still. Here we are at rest stop number 1. We're getting some breakfast.
Yeah.
How are you feeling so far, Tunchan?
I'm okay. The first 20 kilometers.
First 20 kilometers,
Yeah,
okay?
I'm okay.
Good. So we're averaging a pretty good pace, about 24.5 kilometers per hour. Our goal was 25, and we had a lot of stops in the beginning, so I think we should be able to meet our goal, and we're keeping our heart rate about 130 and under, so we're doing pretty good. So we're checking in at a fairly new cycling cafe here in Hoi An. This is called Checkpoint. So we came here once before when they first opened, and it looks like they've been doing some nice work and some nice additions to help with people who are cycling in the area. So we got our bikes here. So here's the entrance right by the main road that we're cycling all the way down the coast. And they got a rack here in the front. It looks like they have some rental bikes too. So we've been getting some questions about where to get rental bikes in Da Nang and Hoi An. So it looks like we got an option here. And they got a pretty cool gate here made from old bike parts. So a nice little outside cafe. They got the canopy here so you get cover if it rains. There's another bicycle up there as well. We got another bike rack here. You can place your order down there. So we're waiting for our food right now, and they got another little wash station here made from an old Bianchi. It looks like some of the lights, they're using some old wheels. So I really like to see all the bicycle design incorporated in everything here. This is one of the new additions that wasn't here last time. They're working on their bike area. So they got a stand here with some basic tools so you can do some repairs. And they've also got some equipment if you need some tubes, or looks like they got some gels as well. So a very cool place to stop if you're cycling around the Hoi An area. Looks like they're also selling a couple different sauces and stuff here. And we got the Hoi An art. Overall, really cool place. So we're gonna wait for our food. So our drink has arrived. This is one of our favorite drinks here in Vietnam. This is coconut coffee. We're not normally coffee drinkers, but this one is especially good. It's basically a coconut smoothie, and we poured the coffee in here. We're running out of a little space because this glass is a little small, but that's okay. The flavor on this is amazing. Tuan will vouch for that, so we're gonna drink a little bit and create some space so we can blend a little bit. Sometimes this comes in two different styles. One is where it's already blended and all mixed for you, and then this is the other style where basically they give you the coconut smoothie and then you pour the coconut on itself, but I didn't turn the camera on when we poured it on. So this is a really popular drink here in the Da Nang and Hoi An area. We often get it on our rides, and I don't know if it's available in other parts of Vietnam. I don't think I've ever seen it in other cities, so if you're in the area, definitely worth a shot to give it a try. Even if you're not a coffee drinker, this stuff is amazing. All right, Tuan Chan's pretty excited. Our food has arrived. We've ridden the first hour without any food, so pretty excited for today's breakfast. So we got a mix of some breakfast tacos here and also some waffles. These are some sweet potato waffles. So we usually get two different things and then we share half and half. Pretty excited to dig into today's meal. Itadakimasu. Finished up with breakfast, and we're making our way out of Hoi An now to the south. Whew. That breakfast was really good, actually. It's been a long time since I had some real sour cream and some real maple syrup, and pretty affordable, only 250,000 for all of that. So just a bit over 10 bucks for some coconut coffee and two nice meals. So a great way to start our ride. And we're finally fueled up, feeling pretty good despite the heat. So we're starting our first and only real big climb of the day. This bridge is Kua Dai. So not too bad. This bridge is only about 4 or 5%. Temperature 38 degrees Celsius now. But we're making good time. This is our only climb today, and then smooth sailing, hopefully. This is the part I was most worried about, is how these bikes are gonna feel while we're climbing with all the extra luggage. Chung upgraded her mask to help block the sun, but so far the bike doesn't feel too bad on this kind of gradient. I think we'll be okay. I also put a little bit of extra sunscreen on the top of my legs just because I don't want to risk getting burnt. We're basically at the peak temperature and sun strength right now. We don't normally ride at this time, so trying to be a little extra careful. We've also got our sun arm covers on. The Vietnamese sun is no joke. The area here around Hoi An, beautiful. All these rivers, lots of new development, really clean. So the next city we're passing through is gonna be Tam Ki. In between Hoi An, we're cycling along this highway, which Luckily, there's not too much traffic. There's a nice bike lane here on the side, but it's pretty boring for the most part. There's not too much to see. But right now, we're passing this cool little water park area, and this is pretty much the furthest that both of us have ridden from Da Nang. We usually will ride down here and then turn around here and go back to Da Nang. It ends up usually being about an 80 to 100 kilometer ride. So we're at about 40 kilometers right now, and unfortunately we're fighting a little bit of a cross headwind, which isn't helping the average speed. We're also trying to keep our heart rate low in this temperature. It's a lot harder than I was expecting. If I keep my heart rate at 130, Chung's is unfortunately about 20 higher than mine, so hers will be 150. I was hoping with me carrying extra luggage that would help make up for the gap, but it doesn't seem to be the case here on the flats. I'm not noticing too much of a difference. Like, yeah, I've got more weight, but as long as I've got the momentum, it's not too bad. It's mainly when I'm accelerating the bike from a stop or when we're going up hills that I notice the weight difference, but very hot.
Everything is new for me.
Yeah, everything is new for you. New territory, but it all looks the same. So we could have done this loop either clockwise or counterclockwise, and we decided to start this way first, going down the coast, just in case there were any problems with our bike, because it's a lot more developed. On this side, there's a lot more bike shops, and it's easier for us to get back home in case something does break. This is our first time doing a long trip and doing this kind of setup, so I wanted to keep it safe and make sure we were able to get things fixed if we needed to in the beginning of our trip. Anyway, we're gonna focus on pedaling for a bit. We still got a long day in the saddle. We'll check back in later. We're about 3 hours into our ride. It's very, very hot outside, and we just passed Tam Ki. Actually, we didn't go into the city. We stayed on the highway, so I didn't realize we have to turn to get into the city. So we didn't end up being able to see Tam Ki because it's not off the highway, but that's okay. We found this nice little spot here that's got some nice, always loud trucks here in Vietnam. We got some nice shade right here, a nice relaxing spot to take a break. And this is another one of our favorite drinks to get on the road here in Vietnam. This is called Nước Mía.
Too sweet.
Too sweet?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my god.
oh my God. Maybe they added some extra sugar.
Yeah.
But this is sugarcane juice, so they usually press it right there, and they also add some lime, so it's a nice energetic drink on the hot, sweaty days. So we're getting 2 to drink here, and then we're gonna fill up our water bottles with some extra and continue on our journey. We've been struggling with nice headwind and crosswind the whole way here, so unfortunately the wind isn't on our side. You can see they're preparing some of the sugarcane over there. They're gonna run it through the machine. That's cool, they got the automatic kind. Some people, they have to do the hand grinding, and that one just pulls it right through. The other cool thing about these highway rest stops here in Vietnam is they got nice, cool, shaded place with a bunch of hammocks, so you can get some rest when you're on the road. We're not gonna take a long break though, we still got a lot of distance to cover. So I grabbed some extra Nước Mía to go. Probably the best drink choice on the road right now, some extra sugar. Stay nice and hydrated, and they're full of ice, so they should stay nice and cool for a little while. They ended up being about 10,000 for our glass and then 15,000 for the bottles because it's a bit extra volume. And here's another view. This is the Hammock Cafe, and we're right here by the highway. And this is, I imagine it's just gonna stay like this for quite a while until we get to Quang Ngai. So a little bit boring, but if we run into anything else interesting along the way, we'll turn the camera back on. We're about 1/3 of the way done, so still a long way to go.
Yeah. Let's continue.
Let's continue. So it's been a little while since our last check-in. We're doing, I believe, our last pit stop before we make our way into our hotel. Currently, we finished 135 kilometers. So total ride time so far, 5 hours and 45 minutes. Average speed has been 23.5. We've been struggling with a ridiculous headwind, crosswind the entire way here, which is the reason we haven't been doing too many check-ins. After we passed the 3-hour mark, we've just been struggling and just trying to keep pushing the pedals. So we got about 27 more K to go, just a little bit over an hour. Hopefully my battery makes it. We're at 26%. And we're just inside Quang Ngai, so the first time that I've been to this city, and we've been looking for just a quick little restaurant to go to. We don't want to really sit down anywhere. We just wanted to grab something quick, like a banh mi sandwich or a convenience store to get some snacks, anything really, or even a little bakery. But we haven't been able to find anything. And as we were passing through the city, we found this sign. This is Go. I believe this is the same thing as Big C from Thailand. I think they market it as Go here. We have a similar store in Da Nang where we live, so Tung went inside. I'm not sure what she's gonna get. There's a KFC inside, so she might get us some chicken sandwiches. The bikes have been holding up really well. I'm really glad that I did get these bar ends because I've been switching my position up a lot. My hands definitely have been suffering a bit on this ride just because I'm not used to these handlebars on such long rides. So it really helped to be able to change the handlebars. I did have a little noise on my bike a little bit during the beginning of the ride, and I was really trying to figure out what it was. It ended up being this cable, which sort of was rubbing up against the tire, so I just moved it to the outside here. I probably should put some electric tape to hold it in place, but that cable was just rattling up against the wheel, so that was a quick fix. Otherwise though, everything's doing pretty good. Tung hasn't been complaining too much other than her heart rate being a little higher than we'd like it to. She's been mostly around 150. We've been struggling to keep it in the 140s. For us to get her heart rate that low, we ended up going a little bit too slow, so we've been trying to keep a balance between keeping the pace up and not getting her heart rate up too high. They got a nice little bench here, so this is where I'm chilling, waiting for Tung. They got a bunch of bike security guys. First, they were upset with me for parking our bikes here. They wanted us to park our bikes over in the parking area. Ah, Tung's got the food. What'd you get?
KFC.
KFC. Okay. Let's eat. Oh, and you got a cola?
We have a fried chicken burger.
Fried chicken sandwich?
Yeah, burger sandwich.
Chicken sandwich and cola. Okay. Itadakimasu.
Itadakimasu. Okay.
Also, one mistake today. We've been getting a little bit sunburnt, so I thought I had enough sunscreen, but not enough. Ooh, looks good. Tung's happy. Fried chicken. Perfecto. And you can see my legs have been getting a little burnt here, so we put some extra sunscreen on during the middle of the ride. Doesn't look too bad, but hopefully, we'll see. The other bad thing with the course is there was no shade at all. It was just the sun beating down on us the entire time. So no shade, direct sunlight the whole time, a crosswind headwind. Today I thought was gonna be one of our easier days because I thought we'd get a tailwind, but I don't know, this might be worse than the climbing day we got tomorrow. We got 2,000 meters of climbing. Yeah. We put on these neck things as well. This was really helpful actually. I just didn't want to get my neck burned, and so we put this on for a little while, and actually it wasn't too hot. I'm getting pretty hungry too. I'll eat some of Tung's sandwich. The rest of our ride went pretty smoothly. I don't know if it was the fried chicken or maybe a change of the wind, but our pace definitely increased, and we also felt a lot more energetic, having some calories in our body, and it also helped a lot that the sun was starting to set. So all in all, the last hour flew by. One thing that I really couldn't believe though was as we continued, we entered this highway gate, which I was expecting there to be like a really nice highway because they had the whole IC card system and everything. And we passed through, luckily it was free for bikes and bicycles, and I couldn't believe it. It was just like a normal road, like every other road, like smaller highway road here in Vietnam. So really hard to believe that they charge money for this kind of road, which is just really chaotic. The only good thing though is there's lots of stores, so if you need to get food, there's always restaurants and places to get snacks. So we just finished up our ride. We're checking in at the hotel. This is a pretty interesting, like smaller style hotel. So a lot of buildings in Vietnam, they're more rectangular, kind of concrete style building. This one looks like a double rectangle. And the first floor they'll often use as kind of like a garage so you can park the car. But the other interesting thing is they don't separate the garage from the living space. So a lot of the car fumes will spread everywhere in here. But the other good thing is they always keep the doors open, so probably not too big of a problem, but that's the standard style here in Vietnam. First floor garage. I'll pull up the Strava details for the ride here, so you can go check out the Strava page to see all the full details about the ride, but total ride time, just under 7 hours, so pretty close to what we were expecting. 162 kilometers, so I believe that's a full, like American 100 miles. That's pretty crazy. It's been a long time since I've done that. Average speed wasn't as good as I was hoping, just really brutal, facing that crosswind, headwind the entire way here. Overall, the average power, not too bad. We kept it pretty low. Tried to keep the heart rate down, and yeah, zone 1 for most of the way, zone 1, zone 2 a little bit, and wow, my 3-second power didn't even go over 400 watts, so definitely kept it pretty easy today, and only 69 meters of elevation. Average heart rate 128 for me, probably 150 for Tung. I definitely noticed when we were low on calories, my heart rate really started to go up, so I was really struggling around the 3, 4, 5 hour mark until we got that fried chicken. All right, here we go, guys. This is our hotel room for tonight. We just made the turn to start going west, so tomorrow morning we've got a bigger ride.
Yeah.
Shorter distance, but much more climbing. So today was the long ride, 160K. Tomorrow I think is 110K, but over 2,000 meters of climbing up into the mountains, up into Mang Den, where hopefully it's a little bit cooler. This hotel room is actually pretty nice. It's basically a highway hotel, so a lot of people on road trips on bikes and even bicycles come here. So we got plenty of space here for both of our bikes. We got a little dining table, and we got a TV we're not going to use, air conditioning, a little cabinet here, and they even gave us 2 beds. We got a big bed and we got a little bed, and we got a lovely view of the shower and bathroom from the living room. I've really only seen this in hotels in like Thailand and Vietnam. So yeah, interesting feature. Anyway, how do you think about today's ride, Chunchan? Your first 100-kilometer ride this year?
Not bad. I feel I'm okay. Better more than I thought. Because today is a long ride. But I'm okay. I can run now.
Yeah, we went up the stairs. We had to carry the bikes up the stairs. It was okay. So you're not too tired?
Not too tired, but
What was
it's so hard.
what was the hardest part?
I think cycling under the hot weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, we cycling around 12 p.m., 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Very hot.
Very, very hot.
Yeah.
Too hot.
Yeah, and my cycling computer say now over 40 degrees.
Wow, yeah, it was
hot.
crazy. I'm sure the real feel was even hotter. Tung's a little upset. She paused her ride when we took a little break, and she forgot to restart it, so her ride ended up being 159 kilometers. So she's devastated that she didn't get the full 160. But it's okay, it shows up on my Strava. Anyway, we're pretty exhausted. We're gonna hop in the shower, go get some food. Before you go, make sure you're subscribed so you can stay tuned on the rest of our bike touring videos. I'll leave a link to the playlist up here in the video and down in the description so you can see all of our videos once they're finished. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for tomorrow's big ride. See ya.
Bye. Good night.
Good morning, guys. Today is Vietnam bike touring day number 2. So we're just getting ready to start our ride. We did a quick little ride to a local convenience store, stocked up on some drinks, got some Snickers, some other snacks to use on the ride. We're riding deep into the mountains today, so I'm really not sure how many places we'll have to stop. We also grabbed a quick breakfast, some banh mi, an egg sandwich. So we're about to get started. Everything has been going really smoothly with the bikes, and here's my bike. So luckily everything seems to be working fine. We haven't had any problems, and it's another long day today, a big day of climbing, 2,000 meters today.
Yeah.
You pretty excited for climbing day?
I will die.
You'll die.
Yeah, I will die.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's go ahead and get started.
Let's go.
So here's a little taste already of what's to come today. We're turning away from the coast, heading into the mountains. So for day 2, we're cycling from the southern part of Quang Ngai over into Mang Den, which is a pretty new, kind of developing, popular mountain town. Really small, so it's kind of like Dalat before it became overdeveloped. And actually, the first half of today's ride, we're riding 110 kilometers today. So the first 50K, the first half of today's ride will be mostly flat with just a few little rollers. And then after the halfway point, we're starting a huge climb. I believe it's gonna be about a 1,000-meter climb for the main climb. And then we'll have a few other rollers as well. So total climbing today should be about 2,000 meters. It's gonna be a tough day. It's also really hot again today. Unfortunately, we started at about the same time as yesterday, about 9 o'clock, but we should make some better progress today because we already ate breakfast, whereas yesterday we stopped for an hour for breakfast during the ride. But yeah, the cycle computer is already showing 34 degrees Celsius, and it's probably gonna be just about as hot as yesterday, but we do have a few clouds up ahead, so hopefully we'll get some cloud cover for a bit of today's ride, and hopefully the temperatures will cool down a little bit as we get into the mountains. That's the one thing that's really fun about cycle touring here in Vietnam is people are super friendly. We've been getting waved at and cheered on like a bunch during the ride, which is really cool to see. I'm also really glad to get outside of the coastal road. The coastal road it's really beautiful and scenic in some spots, but in the parts where there's just a bunch of trucks, like giant trucks taking up both lanes, it can get really stressful just because they're always passing by and their horns are really loud. So I'm really glad. Look at this, like we don't have any traffic for this road, and I imagine this road isn't gonna get busier the further along we go. So really excited that we get the road to ourselves. We can relax, have a nice peaceful ride. One mistake that we made yesterday was, I think with our nutrition, we didn't eat and drink as much as we should have. And we stopped for Nuc Mia, the sugarcane juice. And normally we stop and we'll get one and then we'll just continue our ride. But we stopped and we got extra for our bottles. And I think just from going from a really hot, super humid state with our water bottles being just normal room temperature, and then drinking like 3 iced sugarcane waters, that kind of messed with our bodies a little bit, made us a little more dehydrated. So we're gonna try and drink more just plain water today. We'll also mix in some other like sports drinks and stuff occasionally, but I think for the main thing, we're gonna do water. Yeah, that beeping, those trucks, it's crazy loud when they're right next to you. It shakes your whole body. The other thing that was surprising, wow, those birds are crazy loud too. The other thing that was surprising was the lack of convenience stores. So we're used to cycling around Da Nang area, and we're pretty used to, we know where everything is, where all the bakeries are, where all the convenience stores are. So we can always find food. But one of the reasons why our nutrition wasn't that great yesterday was because we kept searching and trying to find like bakeries or convenience stores, because we didn't want to stop at a restaurant. And there's plenty of like hot noodles and like those kinds of restaurants everywhere, but we didn't want to go to a sit-down place. We just wanted to grab something and go. And I don't think we saw a single convenience store during our entire ride yesterday. And when I say convenience store, I mean one of the bigger brands like Family Mart and 7-Eleven. In Vietnam, the big one is Win Mart, and they're usually everywhere. Even in Thuong's hometown, she's deep in the countryside in a way smaller road than a lot of the roads that we were riding on yesterday. And she's got one right in front of her house. So I was expecting there to be more Win Marts or official style convenience stores, and we didn't see a single one. So that was really surprising. There's a lot of smaller, like mom and pop style convenience stores, but their selection is usually really bad. They just have a few drinks. They don't really have many good food options, unfortunately. So it's better than nothing. We stopped at a few of those to get some drink refills, so it's good for that. But for getting other food, there wasn't many great things there, unfortunately. So we found a convenience store at the beginning of today's ride nearby our hotel. We stocked up on a few extra things, and we got some chocolate. We should probably eat that right now before it starts melting. We also stocked up on some bananas. You can see Thuong's got her banana in her pocket. The other thing we've learned that's been really nice is this face mask. So you can see Thuong's completely covered right now. It covers her neck and everything. These are really good. I thought they'd be hotter, but when I first started riding it with myself, it wasn't too bad. Like I can breathe fine. And actually I feel cooler just because of the extra shade it gives me. So we've been riding with these. It also gives a little bit of an air filter We sometimes ride with our masks when there's a lot of trucks or if the road's really dusty. And this sort of helps with that a little bit too, I think. So this has been a really positive piece of kit. I'm really glad that we brought these. So how are you feeling, Toon-chan? Are your legs sore from yesterday?
No,
No?
I'm feeling good. I think the first day my leg will be hurt, but no.
Good.
I think I get stronger.
It's because we stay low heart rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried very hard yesterday to keep everything under control so we didn't push ourselves too hard. And especially the last like 20 minutes or so, we really cooled it down and just rolled into the hotel. One other thing we got to be careful about today is there is a small chance of rain at different parts of the day in different areas. So when you're riding around the mountains, it's really random, but you can see we got a pretty big storm looking cloud there, but pretty isolated. Blue skies over this way. And I don't see really any other storm clouds, but we got our rain jackets, everything ready to go in case it does start raining. But for now, we'll enjoy the hot sun, the 35 degrees Celsius, and we'll check back in a little bit. About 50 kilometers into our ride, and we almost made it to our rest point at the restaurant, but we ran out of water and it's way too hot out, so we're taking a little break here. Found this little shop, so we got some water and some Revive, which is a carbonated sports drink. A lot of the sports drinks here in Vietnam are carbonated for some reason. I don't know why. And Tung's cycling computer said how hot?
The motor is 47.
47 degrees. Crazy hot.
Yesterday just 44.
Yeah, it's hotter today in the mountains.
Yeah, in the mountain.
Less wind. Yeah. That was a nice little quick break. So we got our drinks. We're gonna head to the restaurant. You can see we got the climb just up ahead, a few kilometers. So we tried looking on Google Maps before starting today's ride to see if we had some food options before the climb. So it looked like there's a decent, just normal restaurant around that area. So we're gonna continue riding over there. But for the most part, riding in this area from the coast inwards into the mountains has been really nice. There's not been too much traffic. We've been going through some smaller cities and smaller villages. We've been riding through a few smaller towns and villages every once in a while, and then it's just countryside in between. Mostly just rolling hills like this. And although it is hotter today, it hasn't been horrible because there are some clouds in the sky that have been blocking the sun every once in a while. And we've got a lot more trees on the sides of the road, so we sometimes get some shade cover. Not much, but a little bit is better than nothing. But it's been really scenic. The traffic hasn't been that bad. There's been a few trucks here and there, but nothing that bad. And we get all these beautiful mountain views just surrounded. We've been passing by some rivers too, so it's a really scenic area. I really have been enjoying this ride. We'll see how our feelings change once we start the big climb. We've been doing a lot of rollers, so we've already climbed 300 meters today. And yeah, the climbs aren't too bad on this bike, but definitely a lot more tiring than the road bike. And just, yeah, up and down, up and down. Better than constantly flat, especially with the views. Oh yeah. Oh, these speed bumps are nasty. Just beautiful back here. Shade cover's on the wrong side though. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. We're just passing a bunch of different little rivers like this. Very beautiful. Reminds us a lot of the cycling in Japan. We had a lot of rivers like this where we used to live over there on some of our old cycling videos. It reminds us of the Yahagi Dam ride. Another little kicker. Tuan's pulling away this time to show off in front of the camera. This is interesting. They got a little shade cover for the vans over here. All these downhills have been a really nice break. We got a bunch of schools. We've been passing a bunch of school kids out today on their lunch break. We got some like wool or something in the ground here too. Hello. So we should be coming across our restaurant here pretty soon, hopefully. We finally made it to our rest point, Tuang's favorite part of the ride. Yep. We've got our food. This is actually pretty similar to the same dish that we had last night for our dinner at the hotel. This is chicken and rice, it's a pretty main staple in Vietnamese restaurants. Pretty simple, so we just got our rice and chicken, some extra vegetables, so nothing too complicated. We'll get our carbs, we'll get our protein. We got some extra pickled vegetables and some soup.
Egg soup.
Egg soup, ooh, I like egg soup. And we got a whole jug of coconut water. Yeah. So that's gonna be really nice. Yeah. It's my first time seeing it served in a picture like this. We got the guard dog over here. Waiting for our scraps probably. Wow. Gotsosama deshita. You didn't finish all your rice? What's wrong?
I'm full. I'm sleepy.
Sleepy. Yeah. They got some hammocks over there, so we might go take a little hammock break. And I think we're gonna take a little bit longer of a break because it's about 1 o'clock right now, so peak time of the day. We're gonna just get a little bit more rest in before we start the climb. We've got over 1,000 meters of climbing and then more like bigger ups and downs after that. So we still got quite a lot of climbing to do today. And we don't mind riding a little bit later into the evening when the sun starts to set. So as for the other side of the restaurant, this is pretty funny. This is, I think, the first time I've seen a bench press in a restaurant. But yeah, I guess you can get some reps in while you're waiting for your food to come. And the total for our meal here, for our 2 plates of chicken rice, our double coconut water and the Coca-Cola was about 130,000. So only about $6. Awesome deal. Food was pretty good. Nothing too spectacular, not too strong of a flavor, but nice and simple, perfect for riding. Enjoying the perfect life. 한먹고 너 인초와? Yeah, I have a feeling if I sit down on the hammock, I'll fall asleep right away. We're finishing up our little hammock break. Did you enjoy the hammock, Tunchan?
Yeah, relax. I want to sleep.
I want to sleep. So tomorrow we're going to be taking a rest day. We'll be able to sleep in tomorrow, catch up on some sleep. The first night I was just too excited, making sure, like, worrying everything was all right and we're ready to go. But anyway, we're refueling all of our bottles for the road ahead. I'm not sure how many stops we'll have on this mountain, so we got 2 bottles of Revive, the carbonated sports drink, and 2 bottles of water. And we're also gonna grab a little ice cream before we go, or I am. Tuong says she doesn't want any. So we got, this is the taiyaki here in Vietnam. Those of you guys who watched our channel in Japan know our favorite rides were taiyaki rides. Taiyaki is an awesome Japanese snack. It's normally like this, a fish waffle with the red bean inside, but this is the ice cream version, so it's basically a waffle cone and it's got the red bean inside as well as some ice cream. So luckily, this is a pretty popular snack here in Vietnam, so we can get it pretty easily. So I'm gonna try and cool down a little bit more before we start this brutal, long climb. Oh, this one's got a coupon. So there we go, our fake little taiyaki. We missed the real thing. They actually have some like kind of fresh-ish taiyaki places here in Vietnam, but it's not the same. There's a place right by our house, so we go there sometimes after a ride. It's still good because we get some carbs and it's still okay, but not even close to the same level as the real deal. But ice cream is a different story. This one's pretty good.
Iceman.
We put on a bit of extra sunscreen. I imagine we're gonna get baked going up this hill. Hopefully there's a little bit of tree cover, but we're not sure. We'll see as we go. Anyway, let's
Go. Let's go. We can do it.
Wow, we were getting pretty spoiled in that shade. It is still ridiculously hot out here, and we're literally starting the climb already right out the door from the restaurant. Blue skies. I wish there'd be some more clouds by the sun. We're gonna get baked. Luckily, I copied Tunchan. I got my face cover on as well, so that's definitely helping. Looks like they're cooking some tires on the roof. Not sure why they do that. Just beautiful out here. Wow. There were a few large trucks that also passed us by the road while we were eating at our restaurant, so we do know we got to be careful. There's definitely some like way extra over large trucks. But overall, the number of traffic didn't look that bad, so I think we'll be okay. All right, here we go. Climb time. Tung's favorite time after food time. Climb time. Not intimidating at all. Just a giant mountain right in front of us. Tung's cycle computer says 45. So yeah, we'll try and keep at a slow pace though, keep our heart rates down. Should be all right as long as we keep drinking. The climb is off to a pretty good start. It was really hot in some sections, but thankfully we've got a few shaded areas here and there that we've been hopping between, and it's just night and day when we're in the shaded area versus the bright area. So far though, the climb is averaging about 5-6% gradient, so it's not too bad with our gears, but there were a few sections where it kicks up to 9% in some of the corners, but these long hot sections are, I think Tunchan's enjoying them. Beautiful views already. Able to look down in the valley down below. Well, our wish came true. It started raining. Tung was asking for it, and luckily we started to cool off quite a bit. It started to get pretty shady as we made our way up halfway point on the climb. We still got a bit of ways to go, but we're gonna chill out here for a little bit. Hopefully the rain will cool down a bit, but we got our rain gear in case we need it. We got really lucky. We saw this place about 200 more meters when it started pouring, so we sprinted to make our way over here. All right, the rain started to settle down, so hopefully we're clear to go. We got our rain jackets on, and we're gonna get back out on the road. That rain got pretty crazy for a while, and I'm gonna take off my good microphone just because I don't know when it's gonna start raining again, so we'll just be filming on and off with the phone and GoPro for a little bit until we know for sure it's dry. But we're pretty lucky right now. It's nice and cool. I didn't think I'd feel this cool during today's ride after some of that heat we were experiencing. We're currently still only at about 800 meters, and I believe the top peak of where we need to get to today is about 1200. So we still got 400 meters climbing to go. Whew. But we just had another nice break. We got some snacks, some gummy bears, some Snickers, Coca-Cola. We're charged up with carbs, caffeine, ready to continue. Are you happy it rained, Tung?
Yeah, I feel better more than hot weather.
Yeah, this is a lot better right now. But let's hope it doesn't rain too much more. If it stays nice and light, we'll be pretty happy. Tung found a rainbow. Did that kid just say bicycle or let's go? Getting toasty again on the climbs. It's cooler, but we still feel that humidity. Making pretty good pace though, now that Tung got a nice little break during the climb. We've been climbing for a good hour and a half already. There's the rainbow. Gorgeous scenery up here. I'm so excited to finally experience some of the Central Highlands here in Vietnam. It's one of the areas I've been really excited to explore. And I had no idea about Mang Den until just recently when we started planning out different route options. And I'm really glad to see that it's only a 2-day cycling distance from Da Nang. 3 would probably be a safer bet if you don't want to kill yourself with long distance on the first day like we did. 3 days would probably be a lot better pacing, but I'm really excited to get there and see what it's like. Totally different scenery up here in the mountains. We're starting to feel pretty good. We've just got our last little bit of climbing here, and then we're done with the main climb. And then we still got about 35K of rollers to get into the city, but at least the big climb's almost done. Finish line in sight. All right, guys, that was a pretty intense last hour of our ride. After we finally crested the last big part of the big main climb, getting up into the Mang Den area, we still had a couple pretty decent sized rollers. And unfortunately, with all of our breaks and hiding from the rain and our slower pace, we ended up running out of daylight for the last hour or so, but it wasn't too bad. We had our lights. The problem was it was pouring rain really hard. So not only was it dark, we were dealing with crazy like flooding style conditions, but for the most part, there wasn't much traffic on the road, so it was pretty safe. And once we started to get closer into Mang Den area, they started to have some like lights on the roads, and the rain started to stop for our last 15 minutes. But man, am I glad to finish this ride. I will say this is definitely probably my most memorable ride here in Vietnam. We had beautiful sights the whole day, and we went from crazy hot in the beginning, over 40 degrees Celsius, to gradually getting cooler, finally getting some shade with the clouds, and then pouring rain and starting to be a little bit cold even. By the end of the ride, I was starting to get pretty cold because the pace that I'm pushing and the pace that Tung's pushing is a little different. So she's pushing in kind of her hard zone, and my heart rate was kind of in my recovery zone, so I couldn't get my body temperature up high enough. But anyway, we made it to our hotel, and I'm in the probably one of the world's worst rocking chairs. But let me show you guys the hotel real quick. So we ended up splurging with a pretty nice hotel, and this one's gonna cost us about 2 million. We're staying here 2 nights, so a million Vietnamese dong per day. So about $45 a night, so a little bit expensive, but this place is quite cozy. It's all wood interior, and that's pretty new for Tung. She's never been to a place like this, so she really likes the vibe. And it's also Tung's birthday coming up next week, so I figured I'll help motivate her for this trip with at least one of the hotels being a nicer one. So this will be a pretty nice experience. We're gonna relax tomorrow. So we just got back. First thing we did was rinse off the bikes to get some of the nastiness off of them, wipe them down so they're nice and clean. We still gotta clean the chains, but I'll do that later. I'm pretty tired right now. So we hopped in the shower and washed some of our kits. This place is a little interesting because it's kind of like a triangle, so the outside walls are more of a diagonal kind of shape. So you can see that here on this side. And this one's actually a 2-story room. We got the bed upstairs. I haven't even gone up there yet, but we got this nice relaxing living room area. Everything's kind of all over the place because we're just got in here, undid our luggage, took a shower. Tung's out getting some dinner, so hopefully she'll be back here pretty soon. Here's the little rocking chair I was using. And here's the outside. We'll probably do a full video in our video for tomorrow. We're doing just a random relaxing day, exploring some of the nearby areas around here. And I'm really excited to see what this place looks like during the day. It's not too populated of a city yet, and the area we're staying in is just gorgeous. So we got our own nice little private picnic bench out here in front of our apartment. I'm just amazed with the temperature out here. I've got my long sleeves on. It's actually kind of cool, so I'm really grateful to Tung for convincing me to bring the extra long sleeve shirt. I'm really glad I did. I didn't think I'd be this cold tonight. Let's go check out the upstairs. I haven't been up there yet. I gotta be careful that I don't hit my head on these. I don't think this is foreigner sized spiral staircase. Yeah, everything's wooden up here. So we got this little table to store stuff here. This little place to hang our clothes. I do like the wood smell in here, the fresh wood smell. This is connected to the fireplace downstairs, but I'm pretty sure it looks like it's a fake fireplace with all the gaps in it, just decorative, but still looks pretty cool. And over on this side, we got our 2 beds. So we usually share a bed, but sometimes it's nice to just have a bed to yourself, especially after a long bike touring day. So you can just relax and you get plenty of space to spread out. And, ooh, we got a balcony out here as well. So we're getting our money's worth. Oh wow, this is actually huge. I guess it's covering our picnic table on the bottom part. This is a really cool design. So they've also got a cafe here, and there's a couple other rooms like ours over there as well. Oh, here we go. This is probably what it looks like. But I think most of the places it's a separate room in the bottom and a separate one in the top. Maybe only some of them are connected like ours. All very cool, minus the karaoke party over there. You can never escape it. Tung finally made it back. Otsukare-sama. She got a bunch of food.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Pork.
Ooh,
Grilled pork.
grilled pork.
Yeah.
Of course, Tung got the meat.
Yeah. God, I have. And meat
Ooh,
and jasai vegetable.
meat and vegetables.
And
And
meat and egg.
egg. Oh, perfect. It's like we're home.
Yeah. And it's rice.
And rice.
Yeah, white rice.
All right, so before we finish the video, what do you think about today's ride?
I think no bike trip anymore.
No more bike trip?
Yeah, no more bike trip.
Why?
This is the last.
Which was the hard part?
Cycle hill climb.
Yeah?
I think it's okay for me. Zukri Noboru Mundainai.
Mm-hmm.
But the weather, I'm not like cycling under the hot weather.
Yeah, the sun was way too hot today.
Yeah, and I feel I'm
Headache?
Yeah,
Yeah.
under the sun.
Yeah. Later when the shade, it was nice. But then it started raining.
But after, the first 2 kilometers,
Yeah, it
I
was
feel very bad.
Yeah, first 2 kilometers
want
very
to
bad.
wait. But after that, the cloudy and have white wind.
Wind?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel better.
Yeah. And then the rain? You like the rain? Okay. But it was a beautiful ride.
But yeah,
Yeah, and we're pretty excited to check out Mang Den tomorrow.
yeah.
So anyway, let's eat
Let's
and go to sleep.
go to sleep.
All right, thanks for watching, guys. A big thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Thanks to your guys' support, we're able to continue filming videos like this, and really glad we finally got to do this tour.
Yep.
So stay tuned, subscribe, and see you in the next video.
Bye.
Good morning, guys. Tour Cruise here, checking in with Tuan Shan. We're on day 3 of our Central Vietnam bikepacking tour. And today we're pretty exhausted from 2 big days. We did 160 kilometers along the coast on day 1, and then we climbed over 2,000 meters into the mountains to get here to Mang Den. So we need a rest day today, and we're really excited to check out the Mang Den area. It's considered kind of like a newer Dalat, a hidden gem, an up-and-coming tourist destination here in Vietnam. And I searched on YouTube. I couldn't find really many English videos about the topic. There's a lot in Vietnamese. So anyway, it's a small little mountain town and a cooler climate. I'm amazed. This is the first time since I moved back to Vietnam earlier this year in January where I'm almost kind of cool. Like I'm in between a short sleeve and long sleeve. When we arrived last night, it was pretty cool, so we definitely needed the long sleeve, but during the day, it's nice and warm enough for a short sleeve, but not too hot that we're like sweating. So we just arrived here late last night. We were riding in the dark for about an hour, so unfortunately we couldn't see much of the city when we first arrived. This is our first impressions, and the first thing I kind of feel is like we're in up north Michigan. So Michigan is my home state in the US, and we say up north when we go up into the northern part of the state where it's a lot more countryside. We got a lot of trees like this on the sides of the roads. It feels like we're in that kind of environment. Like, just looking at the nature here, it doesn't feel too much like Vietnam unless you look at these signs. So definitely has that more northern kind of climate feel. And our hotel is also like that. You can see we got a lot of normal hotels over here, but we chose our hotel, which has more of a cabin feel. We did a little preview tour in the end of our last video, and we'll show you guys once we get back. But we're on our way to go get some breakfast. We're pretty hungry after burning, geez, how many calories the last few days. And I don't know too much about this area. So let's ask Tunchan what she thinks. What is the famous or interesting point about Mang Den?
The food, they have the grilled chicken
Uh-huh.
and kham lam. I don't know in English. They put rice in bamboo.
Okay, they have a special kind of food.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna stop here for some breakfast. Breakfast, lunch, it's a little bit late. We slept in today. All right, guys, we made it to the restaurant. So we're getting a little bit of a brunch today. It's about 10:30, so a little too late for breakfast and a little early for lunch, but we're at the restaurant. It's a little bit noisy, but it's Vietnam. We've got construction next door, we've got music on the other side, and we got a busy road right in front of us. But this is our meal for today. So this is the chicken rice set. We've been eating a lot of chicken rice on this trip so far, but every time has been different. So they got a whole chicken for us. They cut it right in front of us, and they've got them cooking right in front of the restaurant. So that's pretty cool. And they got the whole chickens out cooking in front of the restaurant. The other unique thing here, I haven't tried this yet, but this is like rice inside of a bamboo piece. And I asked Tun to tell me what the reason for this was, and she says traditionally the people that live in the mountains here, so there's a lot of indigenous people that live in this area in Vietnam, is they would put the rice inside the bamboo, put in some water, and then they'd bring it to work with them, so they'd have food that they could eat at work. And then at work they'd set up a fire, and then they just cook the rice inside the bamboo with the fire while they're at work in the mountains. So that's why they're doing that. We've also got some peanuts. So we take the rice, dip it in the peanuts. Oh, you just eat the rice and the peanuts? Mm-hmm. Ah, so the sauce is different for the chicken.
And I don't know, this one maybe
Mystery sauce. We also chose to eat on this table because this is a nice big solid wood table. A lot of restaurants in Vietnam will use these like cheaper kind of seats and tables, the foldable ones like that. We're still on the cheap seats. Those are pretty much everywhere here, but we wanted to eat on the nice wood because that's another nice feature here in the mountains. There's a lot of woodworking, especially at our hotel we're staying at. They got a lot of wood. All right, so I'm gonna give this sticky rice a try. Dip this in the peanut sauce. That's actually really good. I think they added some sugar. Yeah, they added some sugar inside the peanut powder here. That's really good though. It's like sweet and salty. So first I'll try the chicken without any sauce. It's pretty decent. That was a little tougher to bite. Tung says that these aren't like normal chickens raised in a farm. These are more like wild, not wild, but they're more in the mountains. They're more free to move around and stuff. So that's an interesting feature here. I'm gonna try dipping in some of the sauce now. See if that adds some extra flavor. Yeah, ooh, it's spicy. So that mystery green sauce actually adds quite a lot of flavor. Nice and spicy, that's really good. Spicy?
a little, but I like.
You like this spicy? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a little spicy green salsa. Mm-hmm. So we finished up with our lunch. That chicken was pretty good. And we're making our way back to our hotel now. We're gonna grab our bikes and we're gonna go out and explore the rest of the city. So here's what our hotel room looks like. We're actually staying in a kind of log cabin, northern wood style cabin, and we've actually got 2 stories. So that's pretty cool. We got a little spiral staircase here, and we've got our 2 beds up here in the top floor. We've also got a cool veranda here going out to the outside, and I'm still amazed how cool it is outside compared to like where we live in Da Nang, Vietnam. It's such a difference. And yeah, we're just surrounded by all these trees and nature. It's gorgeous out here. So the hotel we're staying at is just it's a bunch of like mini little guest houses like ours. I think some of them you get the top floor and the bottom floor, and other ones they rent them out separately. They've also got a cafe here as well, but it looks like not too many people are staying here right now. We might be the only ones. All right, and going down the spiral staircase. Not exactly a fan of these because they're a little bit small for me, so I got to be careful. And here's our first floor. We've got a TV. I'm pretty sure this is a fake fireplace just for decoration only. We got a little mini fridge, a couch. Everything's all over the place because we just unloaded our bike bags late last night. And then we got our patio entrance out here. So what's really cool about this place is we got a nice little private picnic table right in front, and it's also covered by that same veranda from the top floor. So in case it does rain, you get some nice coverage. We actually had dinner out here last night. It was really nice. And anyway, we're gonna hop on our bikes and go explore the city.
Yeah, let's go.
We decided to take the secret back road. There's actually a road in front of our hotel and behind our hotel, so we're gonna try and take this secret back road into the city. I don't know if I should say city. This is more of a village, small town. So I don't think there's too much, but we're gonna just explore the town a little bit by our bikes today. So we'll see what's around. I think there's a couple markets that sell some of the like local tribe produce and stuff. There's some waterfalls nearby, but it looks like you gotta walk quite a bit to get to some of them. And then there should be some viewpoints, so we're gonna look around, see what we find. We've just got a little climb right here, but we did so much climbing yesterday, so my legs are pretty dead, even on just this little tiny climb. Tung's pulling away. We took off some of the bags, so we took off Tung's rear large saddlebag, my pannier bag, so the bikes are a lot lighter. So that does feel nice. I am loving all these tall trees that we're surrounded by though. It's a little bit cloudy today. Tung said there's a little bit of a chance of some rain in the evening. We're gonna try and get as much sightseeing in now while we can, and then go back to our hotel and relax for another big day on the bike tomorrow. So we're entering sort of the town square kind of area. You can see on the map, we just got there's one main road through the city, and then there's this sort of round square area, grid area, where it looks like this is where most of the people live, or not quite sure, we'll see. So Tung told me this is one of the famous markets here. And she said this is for the local tribes here, but it looks pretty empty. It doesn't look like there's much going on right now. I don't know if we came here during a non-busy travel season, or maybe they're mostly only busy during the weekends. I'm not sure what the current tourism situation is like here. I don't think there's many foreigners here. We haven't seen any other foreigners since we came here. I think it's more of a domestic tourist location. But yeah, I mean, this place is pretty big, but it's totally empty right now. So maybe they're only open on the Shumatsu dake kana? Yeah, this must be only open on weekends. They must be really busy on the weekends. Yeah, I'm really starting to feel like I'm in up north Michigan right now. It's kind of got the tribal decorations. Let's do a quick walk around. They even got a little playground here for kids. A bunch of swings. Yeah, this place is massive. Must be bustling on the weekends. Here we are, Mang Den, the hidden gem in the mountains in central Vietnam. So that's too bad about the market. We would have liked to see it with it being open. And it's crazy, they got the cicadas going right now. I haven't heard them in a long time. We don't really have them much in Da Nang. So we're just gonna circle around here and see what this area is all about, because on the map it's pretty unique. It's the only area that really looks like there's any roads or anything. So we got a monument tower here. We got another, it looks like a fountain kind of design over there, but not going right now. So I was kind of wrong. I thought this would be kind of more like a city, like residential area, but there doesn't seem to be too much residential stuff. The clouds aren't looking too promising. We do got some buildings off to the left though. Might be government buildings though. The other really cool thing about here is this is an actual canopy style road, which is very rare here in Vietnam. So these are really popular photo spots. And I love it because you get the shade, it helps you cool down. The sun here is insanely strong, so it's really nice to see these canopied roads here, all these extra trees. Very beautiful area. But it does kind of seem to be a little bit of a ghost town. There were a lot of people at the restaurant we were at earlier for lunch though. So here we go, we're getting a few residential houses over here. And lots of little up downs here, so you definitely get a workout living in this area. Yeah, Tung says these are the government buildings. Usually those big yellow buildings like that are either government buildings or maybe even a school. But you can tell the school ones by their design. So we got some hotels over here. We were debating, we were thinking about staying here in the central area, but I'm kind of glad we chose the area that we did. It's only 1 kilometer from here, and it's just a lot more reclusive, and it's really nice having the garden and everything. So yeah, it's really not too busy down here. Not too many stores. Some hotels, some coffee shops. We're gonna finish our video. There's a lake down on the south side. So we're gonna head down to that lake, stop by the cafe, get some ice cream, and I think that'll be our finish point for today's ride and exploration. Miki, kore main no michi. So now we're back on one of the outside rings of this downtown area. So yeah, this road's a lot bigger. We got some more restaurants. We got 4 lanes here. This must be one of the main lifeline roads here. You thought it'd be busier?
Yeah, I think it's a popular tourist.
Yeah.
I think more people.
Yeah, Tung said she thought it would be much busier here because she thought it was a more popular tourist location. But I don't know, it must be the season, or maybe it's just a weekend kind of popular place. We've even got a few. There's a big chain electronics store. This is the, okay. Tung says that's the normal market. So just for getting normal fruits and vegetables and meat and stuff. Koregako? Elementary school here. Yeah, it's not too bad of a downtown actually. I actually really like that it's not busy traffic. This is really nice. It's a lot more livable. I was telling Tung on the way on our bike ride over here yesterday, I was worried that I was gonna really like it here and kind of regret not coming earlier and staying here for like a month in the summer, just because the weather here is so much better. Like we're in a t-shirt right now, it's nice and cool. And in Da Nang, if we go outside this time of day, we're just sweating. And you walk outside, even at night, you're instantly sweating. So the weather here is amazing. I wonder if it's a lot hotter though, if there's not many clouds. Like it's pretty cloudy today. We got some elephant guards for that hotel. And now we're continuing on this main road sort of north that's heading out of the city, it looks like. Oh, we got some ajisai flowers. I think, I don't remember what those are called in English, hydrangea or something. And I was really excited because I saw those for the first time in Vietnam on yesterday's ride in the mountains, but I didn't get a video of it. So they must only grow them here in the more mountain climates in Vietnam, but we saw those flowers a lot in Japan, and I always really enjoyed seeing them when they bloom. We're making our way to the northern border of the city. We've got a bus stop over here, Tung said, and this is an interesting sign I learned about during the ride. We saw this a bunch of times. This means no more city, or you're leaving the city. I like how it's just a big city with an X through it. Well, we weren't planning on riding on any gravel roads during this trip, but we saw this interesting bridge on Google Maps only a kilometer away, so we thought we'd go check it out, but we had to go down a big descent. Now we're on some gravel road, so hopefully it'll be worth it. Tung said this is the road. I would have never found it myself. Interesting. Ah, there it is. That's a bit smaller than I was expecting, but ooh, this area is pretty beautiful actually. There we go. This old tiny little bridge. Okay, it was definitely worth coming. This is a pretty cool little spot. You can feel the bridge shaking. Let's check out the other side. All right, so there wasn't too much here actually. We're gonna try walking back across. And yeah, it's pretty crazy riding over this, feeling it shaking. Looks like we got something in the hill over here. Like their local Hollywood sign. Anyway, it's pretty cool to check out this old bridge. It's cool to see that it's still here. And now we get to climb a kilometer back into the city. This is the price we pay. That hill looks a lot more intimidating coming back too. Only about a 11% gradient the whole way up, but not too bad. And in case you're curious, this is the opposite of the sign from before. This means we're about to enter the city. And on the way back here, we're gonna turn off here and go back a slightly different way so we can loop around the city. Supposedly, you can get some nice views from over here. So let's see what we can see from up here. Already, we're starting to get a nice opening to the distant mountains. Definitely a lot hillier inside the city than I was expecting. Got a homestay over here. Woo! Over here on the side of the road, we got this really nice view of the distant mountains. Looks like there's a little valley inside. And this is actually sort of the direction that we came from yesterday, just going through so many up-down roads. And even here in the city, there's so many up-down roads. We're definitely gonna be getting in a little bit of a workout today. It's also pretty crazy how you can get some views like this and you got all this land here that isn't developed yet. So yeah, it's sort of bittersweet. This place is really a hidden gem right now. There's really not much development here. So I understand now why they call it the Little Dalat, because Dalat's just expanded so much and you can't really relax there much anymore and the prices are so expensive. But here, it's still in its early baby phases. So it's super quiet, super peaceful here. And you get these different homestays and hotels just separated from everywhere else. So I'm really liking this area. I'm wishing we knew about this place earlier. I would have loved to come here and stay for a month in the summer last year or even the year before. Unfortunately, I'm heading back to the US in a few weeks, so we missed our chance. But I am curious to see how this place develops over the years, and hopefully it doesn't overdevelop, but from the looks of it, there's still plenty of open space here and it's still not too well known. So part of me wants to keep it that way, but yeah, this is beautiful. Everywhere you go, when you go up the hills, you get views of the distant hills and other houses and stuff. And this cool climate under the clouds right now, loving it. I haven't felt this cool in so long. Okay, we're starting to get a bunch of tents over here, so it looks like we got maybe some smaller, what do we got? Some smaller little shops, selling different, a bunch of different stuff, flowers, drinks, food. So these shops are all actually right next to this church right here. And when we were looking on Google Maps for different attractions we can go to, this is one of the places that popped up. I guess this is a pretty popular church in the area. So they got a big parking lot over here. And I guess these businesses must have developed here next to the church. So that's why a lot of them are selling flowers and stuff. And it looks like they're selling some of the traditional, like local population clothes as well. And oh wow, this church is actually really big. They got like outdoor seating and stuff here. And it looks like they got a walking path. Wow, they got a whole big garden. This thing is still going on. So this must be like maybe a park or something connected to the church. I don't know. Ooh, downhill. And we get to loop back into the southeast side of the city. So we're actually back on the main highway road. This is the road that we took when we entered the city last night. But now we're on the south side of that first sort of central city grid area that we went through before. So right up here we should have the traditional market pretty soon. Yeah, we're starting to feel a few raindrops, so luckily we're nearing the end of our ride. I'm glad we're able to see this during the daylight too, because it was too dark last night. We couldn't see any of this. So we're back passing down by our area where our hotel is. When we first did our booking, I thought this was more like secluded kind of area, but this area actually has a bunch of hotels. But the nice thing is there's a bunch of space and they're all pretty separated. I was expecting there to be more hotels and things to be more congested inside the center of the city, but I was a little bit wrong because every building here is pretty much a hotel. Anyway, we're going to continue on just a little bit further south to our last planned stop for today, where there's a lake, a small little lake, and hopefully a cafe nearby. This is where we had breakfast lunch. They're still burning that chicken. Just beautiful. Every place is doing really well with their gardening and landscaping here. And I'm also pretty sure this is how we're starting our ride tomorrow morning. We're going to be descending down this way. Well, so much for the lake. It started pouring right before we made it to the lake. So we had to quickly stop, put on our rain jackets, which luckily we still had on our bikes with us. But we rode by the lake, but we were right by the lake, so we decided to ride by it on our way back. And it wasn't anything too special, it was pretty small. But we're taking one of the other back roads back, and it's crazy the number of big buildings here that are just kind of like open. I guess they're maybe currently under development, and also just really big hotels as well. So we're on the bottom side of the hill. The top side up there is on the main highway, and then there's a big hill down here to the bottom part. So some of the buildings go all the way from the front to the back. It's pretty cool back here though. Kind of creepy though with all these big empty buildings. So unfortunately we weren't able to do our last little rest stop by the lake, but we made it back to our hotel. We cleaned up our bikes again, even though we did it last night, but they're dried off, the chains are cleaned up, and now we're just getting everything out ready to start drying. And of course, after we get back, it's sunny again. So no more rain, but oh well, we're gonna relax for the rest of the day. We had a really good time exploring around Mang Den. Yeah. It's not too much to do around here, but it's a nice place to relax, and there's some nice views around, and the climate is nice and cool. So we're gonna relax for the rest of the day, and then we got a big day tomorrow. Yeah. Another 100-kilometer ride.
Sleep early.
Sleep early.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks as always for watching, guys, and a big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. Thanks to your guys' support, we're able to continue filming these videos. We'll see you bright and early for the next video. Good morning, Vietnam. Tour Cruise here, checking in with Tuyên Chan. We're here starting day 4 of our Central Vietnam bike packing trip. We had a nice rest day yesterday, so are you feeling pretty fresh?
Yeah.
Yeah, feeling a lot better?
I'm ready to go.
Yeah. So we're starting here in beautiful Mang Den, the mountain town, which has been treating us very well since we arrived. A lot of cooler temperatures, but today we're descending down part of the mountain quite a bit. So I think we're gonna get back into some hotter temperatures. And also it looks like it's gonna be pretty sunny today, but we made a few quick changes to our bike packing setup. We removed some of the heavier items from Tuung's bags. She was struggling a little bit more on the climbs than I was, so we decided to weigh down my bike a little bit more. So hopefully it'll be a little bit easier for her. Luckily, we don't have too much climbing today. Another unfortunate change is Tuung's cycling computer broke at the end of our ride coming in here. We kind of got stuck in some really heavy rain and her cycling computer won't turn back on, so that's pretty unfortunate. Mine's still working okay though, so she'll just use my data and we're gonna also record it on her phone, so she'll still get her ride data. Okay, ready to go?
Let's go.
You hazukashii, no?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. So the first thing we needed to do before leaving town, we borrowed some bowls and some chopsticks from that restaurant that we ordered dinner from last night, so we went to return that. And I also wanted to show you guys this area. So we're really curious. This is the main road going through the town. There's a bunch of hotels and restaurants on this side. But over here, there was just this wide open area. At first, Tuung thought it was a parking lot, and then she looked into it a little bit, and I guess this used to be an airport during the wartime. So it looks like we got the long runway over here. Let's go inside a little bit. Yep, it looks like they got a sign over there, airport market, airport fruit market. Oh, that's cool. It looks like it's not going on right now though, but anyway, it looks like this used to be the runway. There's nothing really here right now anymore, but they got this nice little gate here that apparently isn't related to the airport. And oh, it's nice and sunny today. Way different weather than we had for yesterday. Yesterday was nice and cloudy. The sun is actually pretty hot today, so we got to be careful about getting sunburnt. And wow, that building's pretty crazy with that concrete construction. So here we go. We're officially starting our ride, leaving Mang Den. And so today is Saturday. It's the start of the weekend. We definitely noticed it's considerably busier than it has been since we arrived, and it was yesterday. We had some more ajisai flowers there. I love seeing those here. It's my first time seeing them in Vietnam since coming into the mountains, but still not too crazy busy. I don't think this place gets that busy. It's still a nice kind of hidden gem kind of area. But yeah, we're gonna have lots of nice trees along this road, it looks like, so we'll get some shade. And even though the sun is pretty hot in the direct sunlight, it's not too bad once you're moving and you got the wind. It kind of reminds me of the summer in my hometown in Michigan. So it's pretty warm during the day if you got sunlight, and it's nice and cool in the evening. We got all these, oh my God. Great driving. Let's just pass the cyclist and then try and turn right in front of them into the restaurant. But anyway, the start of the ride today is gonna be very nice. We're descending about 500, 600 meters. So it should be really fast today. Our first 2 days of the cycle tour were really long. 160K, 7 hours for the first day, and only 110K for the second day, but 2,300 meters of climbing. Today, I think we have 1,000 meters of climbing, but we're descending more than we're climbing, and only 110 kilometers. So I'm hoping today we'll finish in 5 hours. We'll see. My estimates haven't been correct so far. But we do need to try and find a place to buy some snacks, to get something for breakfast, and also get some sports drinks. That's one thing we haven't really seen much of here in Mang Den, is the convenience store. Oh, they got a bunch of ajisai over here. What do you think of the weather? これ俺の地元の夏だよ。いいな。And this road is actually a bit more developed than I was expecting. There's just a bunch of hotels, giant hotels along this road, so there's plenty of options to stay. It looks like they're developing a lot more buildings over here too, so building even more hotels. Maybe it'll turn into Da Nang a little bit where they just overdevelop the hotels, but that's good for the consumer because the prices will stay nice and low. There were a couple cheaper options for hotels here, but the rooms were really small, and we decided just to get a nice luxury option. So it was about 1 million Vietnamese dong per night, so about $45. but it was very beautiful. We had a whole 2-story apartment to ourselves and a nice little garden area and a picnic table for eating. So pretty happy with our decision. It was nice to get some proper rest on our rest day, which we need because we still got 3 big days on the bike. And oh wow, beautiful views in the distance back there too. We're gonna enjoy the start of today's ride. Just nice descending, cool breeze. I like the vibes up here. It's like up north Vietnam. So these canopy roads are really popular, and a bunch of people will set up in the middle of the road like that, which is pretty crazy considering all the big trucks that pass through here. But man, Vietnamese girls will do anything for a good photo. These kinds of views are pretty normal in the US, especially in Michigan, where I'm from. But in Vietnam, especially near the cities, there's barely any roads like this. And this is just beautiful. Nice, big, wide canopy road, pine trees. Gorgeous. Oh wow, there's even more people in the middle of the road here. This is crazy. It's just a road, but people want to stand in the middle of the road for the good photo. Okay, we're actually turning right here. And here we got even more Ajisai. Oh, it's beautiful. I think these are hydrangea in English. We used to see these all the time in Japan around this time, like almost May. It's really cool to finally see them in Vietnam. I never saw them in Da Nang where we live. But man, I'm really regretting not coming to Mang Den earlier. This would have been an amazing area to come in the summer for a month. Just with this climate, all the good roads around here. This would have been perfect training paradise. Yeah, these roads are totally different than Michigan. We don't got mountain views like this, and we don't have smooth roads like this. That's gorgeous. That's nice. We're just gonna be able to wind down the whole way. Perfect start to the ride. We're getting the reward for our suffering on day 2. This descent has been a lot of fun, and we still got a bit to go, but found this cool little view spot, so we're taking a quick little break here, getting our pictures for Instagram and Strava. Very nice. This road is pretty nice, but the biggest downside is all those speed bumps. They're a little bit rough on the bike, but not gonna complain with views like this. Fresh, smooth pavement. So for today's ride, we're descending southwest into Kham Duc city, and then we'll probably take a little break there, get some food, and then we're gonna go northwest to a different, smaller city, which is Plei Can, and that's where we're staying tonight. We'll be really close to the Laos and Cambodia border, so it'll be interesting to see how different it is over there. And then tomorrow, we'll mostly be riding along the Ho Chi Minh Highway, which I've also really wanted to try out and experience. We finished our descent, so we got a nice, easy first 15K, but of course, it's our luck that we get straight into a headwind. We're having quite a bit of up-down for the rest of today's ride, just a few smaller climbs and descents, which is pretty good for keeping up the pace because Tuong really struggles with the long climbs, and this way we can keep up some of the momentum in the downhills. And we're just, looks like we're passing a little small town, little residential area. Hopefully we'll find a little shop so we can get some drinks, something with sugar at least. We need to get some calories in our body. And it's definitely warmed up a bit. It's showing 35 degrees Celsius on my cycle computer, so pretty similar to what it was when we were on the East Coast. So not too much cooler here, unfortunately, and another pretty sunny day. Hopefully we'll get some cloud cover at some point today. So for quite a while, we didn't see any shops, we didn't really see anything, but finally we found a nice little convenience store here, and we're stocked up on some recovery drinks, and also gonna try this taro bread. At least we'll get some calories in the body. And we also got some Revive, the yellow edition sports drink. So we should have some calories to continue on. Perfect. Karori. So that was a nice little snack. Really glad we found that place when we did, because we were starting to run on empty. We only had a little bit of water and didn't really have many calories yet this morning, so glad to get some calories in the body. We should be fine to get into the first city, Kham Duc, and then hopefully there we can find a nice place to get some lunch. Finally, we're getting some shade from the sun. It's been pretty hot today with the sun beating down, but our luck is starting to change maybe. I am starting to regret a little bit moving all of the heavy luggage from Tung's bags into mine, because she's definitely dropping me a lot easier today. Maybe she does better with the rollers rather than the long climbs. She struggles with that one, but with the rollers she can fly right over them. But I got the advantage on the downhill. I got all this extra weight. Nice little town. The couple that ran the shop was pretty funny. The wife was giving her husband crap about not being in better shape like us and telling him he should do some more cycling like us. Vietnamese people are pretty funny and direct with their humor. We're about 2 hours into our ride, 50K in, and we're just about entering the outskirts of Kham Duc. So it's nice to finally be back in some civilization. We're pretty much at the halfway point for today's ride. We still got another 60K to go, but I think we're gonna stop somewhere in the city, try and find some food, a nice shady place to rest for a little bit. It's about 1 o'clock right now, so pretty much the hottest point of the day, so we're gonna take a little break. This road's double lane, but not too busy. They got the barriers in the middle. They're putting those in a lot of these like 4-lane through the town kind of roads now, because it's just too dangerous with pedestrians crossing and bikes and every car doing U-turns. So it's nice to see them do this. This looks like a pretty decent sized town actually. This is the proof we're in the city. That's the sign that they show when you enter a more populated area. And when you exit, it's a similar sign with just an X through it. It's pretty funny. This is pretty interesting. I never see like outdoor pools here. So it's crazy to see one right here, right off of the main road. So that was a cultural center. That one looks pretty run down though. Unfortunately, my bike has started making a little bit of a ticking sound. I tried stopping to figure out what it was. I can't quite figure out where it's coming from, but it's still making the sound when I'm not pedaling, so I don't know. Part of me thinks it's a bottom bracket, but not quite sure. It doesn't seem to be too much of an issue though, so hopefully it doesn't get worse. Oh, cool. We got some nice big rolling hills to this town too. This town is way bigger than I was expecting. And in typical Vietnamese fashion, they're burning right in the city, everywhere. So in our search for looking for food, we're actually already, it looks like we're exiting the city limits, but that's all right. It's still kind of busy. We should be able to find a shop somewhere along this road. There's a lot of noodle places like pho and stuff like that, but I don't really want hot noodles right now because it's a hot day. So we're trying to look for something different. One of our usual go-to foods is banh mi, the baguette sandwich, but we haven't seen a single banh mi place in a long time. And the other thing we haven't seen any other like cyclists really. We've seen a lot of people riding like casual bikes and stuff like that, but we haven't seen anyone else kitted up riding road bikes or anything. We usually see a lot of them in Da Nang where we live. So it's kind of strange to think about that and realize we haven't seen anyone else, but maybe they don't ride on these roads. All right, we got pretty lucky. Just as we were leaving the city, we found a nice little spot here to get some rice dishes. So they got rice and meat and vegetables. Perfect, just what we need. And also right next door, we've got a little snack shop so we can get some drinks to continue on with our ride. So here's our food. We got some egg, some meat, some vegetables, some tofu, some rice, and some Coca-Cola. Perfect way to continue. Oh, and we got some soup, some vegetable soup. How's today's ride?
Yeah,
Easy?
easy. The easiest.
Easiest
Yeah.
so far?
Start with big down here and just small up down.
Yeah. So not too hot, a
Yeah,
little
not
hot,
so-
but
a little hard, but okay.
easier than, not as bad as before.
Yeah, compared to the day before.
Yeah.
It's okay.
All right. So we're gonna take a quick little break here,
Yeah.
eat our food, and hide out from the hot summer sun. That was a perfect little food break. We're getting ready to go again, putting on a little extra sunscreen because it is pretty hot and sunny today, and luckily they sold some of our favorite sports drink next door, Pocari Sweat from Japan, and we're pretty lucky. This is the first store we've been to so far on the trip that actually had it in stock. Every time we stop at a store, we ask them, do you have Pocari? They're like, what in the world is that? It's like they never heard of it. And then other stores, they know what it is. So gradually, it's starting to get more popular here in Vietnam, but we definitely prefer this over the other one, Revive, because Revive is carbonated and this one's not. And we're back on the road. We got another 2.5-ish hours ahead of us. Hopefully we'll make some good time on these last few rollers. It says in the forecast that there's a chance of rain in about 2 hours, so hopefully we get lucky and we don't get drenched right in the last part of our ride. We can see some storm clouds sort of off to the side behind us right now, but we're going this way. Looks okay. So this is the sound on my bike. I'm still trying to figure out what it is. Any ideas? Let me know in the comments. I tried looking at the fenders. I tried looking at the bag. It still makes it when I'm not pedaling, so it's not connected to the drivetrain. I don't know, I give up. I'm just gonna ride and hopefully my bike doesn't break. Bye-bye, Kontum. See you again. That's pretty cool. Unfortunately, this road seemed to narrow down. We're only down to one lane on both sides, but pretty wide, but a decent amount of traffic right now. Hopefully it improves. Rolling hills like this for the rest of the ride. Entering Dak To, which I guess is a place where some people who do this route will stop to take a break, but we're continuing on to the next town because tomorrow's going to be a big day and we want to shorten it as much as we can. Lots of climbing tomorrow. So we're here in Dak To City and we found this cool little war memorial, looks like. So we got some tanks here, 472 and 377. Okay, they even have a description here in English. So on April 24th, 1972, in the North Central Highlands campaign, this tank 377 destroyed 7 M41 enemy tanks and completed the task excellently together with other forces to liberate completely the Dak To Ton Kine base. That's pretty cool though. And they've also got another monument kind of tower here, so let's check that out. So I didn't know this was a significant area during the war, but this is a pretty cool find. Pretty interesting to see this memorial, and it looks like, yeah, there's some flowers there, so I don't know if there was a anniversary pretty recently. And I guess for people who do bike touring in this area, this is a pretty popular area to stay during the route, but we're going to continue on because tomorrow is one of the bigger days with a lot of climbing on the Ho Chi Minh Highway, so we want to try and shorten tomorrow's distance as much as possible. That's a pretty interesting building over there too. Really steep roof design. Tung saying that this is kind of the style for what the traditional like indigenous mountain people used to do. She said they separate the bottom of the house so it doesn't touch the ground. It's on pillars like that. And they also have a tall, kind of steep roof. So while we're in town, we're gonna stock up here on some drinks. We've got 1 more hour until we make it to our next destination. And this guy, he wanted to show me his lizard.
He said you guys can buy it and bring the home
어머,
like souvenir.
다낭 이그 나가.
They like you, they want to take a picture with you and 가이국인.
Oh, Mizurashi. This guy loves his pet lizard. That was a pretty weird guy. He really wanted to show me his pet lizard. And anyway, we did our last stop, hopefully, until we get to our hotel. We got about 18 more kilometers to go. A bit more climbing than before, so hopefully it's just about 1 more hour to go. The gradients are pretty steep on some of these rollers. I'm already out of breath. We're currently at about 94K into today's ride. 4 hours ride time. So it looks like my guests will be pretty close. We'll have about 5 hours of ride time for today's ride. Nice and easy compared to 2 7-hour days in a row. So it's pretty common to see graves like this on the side of the road in Vietnam. But I've not seen this one where they got dogs. I don't know if it's something that's popular in this area, but a lot of these places have similar dog statues on both sides of the entrance. Like I've seen the lion type before, but this one has a bunch of dogs. I tried asking Tung if she knew the reason. She doesn't, so don't know. That's another interesting thing here. A couple of them are using the flower lotuses, but yeah, lots of dogs here. They must really love dogs in this area. All right, Tung had an idea. She said that in Vietnamese culture, the dog usually protects the house, so maybe they're there to protect the grave. Maybe that's a pretty interesting idea. Makes sense to me. This road though is pretty dangerous, probably the most dangerous so far we've been on our trip. There's no shoulder and it's pretty busy. There's a decent amount of traffic here, so hopefully it's not like this for too long. So another interesting thing Tung mentioned over here was these trees. I noticed that they had these kind of wraps around them in different colors and I wasn't sure what it was. And she mentioned that this is actually a pretty famous place for this. They apparently get the sap from these trees to make some kind of rubber. I didn't know rubber came from trees, so that's new information for me. But I guess this is a pretty popular place where they do it because all the trees here are marked like that. School's out. Looks like school's out. So we get to pass everyone on their evening commute. A lot of the kids in Vietnam now are on e-bikes, so feel bad for the kids who aren't on e-bikes. Tung used to have to commute on a normal bicycle every day. Hello. Hello. How long was your commute? 30 minutes. 30 minutes? Oh wow, pretty long. Woo! I don't know if those kids are lucky or unlucky. They get to go down that hill after school every day, but they got to go up it when they go towards school. Speaking of unlucky, I just felt some light little raindrops. Looks like we're right on the edge of a rain cloud. So hopefully it's not too bad. I was thinking we were going to get lucky and get no rain today, but we'll see. We're cutting it close. This is how a lot of kids will commute to school here in Vietnam. They'll have one hand in their pocket, one hand in the handlebar, and both legs just resting. So they're all on more like mopeds than electric bikes. Ooh, looks like there's a big celebration, maybe a wedding going on. This road is pretty crazy dangerous though. Narrow, a lot of trucks and all the kids off for their school commute. But that's pretty common here. Hopefully there's not too many accidents. These kids are going pretty fast though. We have to push pretty hard to keep up with them on those e-bikes. All right guys, we're just on the outskirts of Plei Can, which is where we're going to be staying for tonight. We've got 110K in, average speed just over 23K an hour. A lot nicer weather right now in the evening time. It's about 5 p.m. so beautiful time of day to ride. And this is one of the earliest days we're finishing our ride, so pretty excited to get an early check into the hotel, get some food and relax for tomorrow. Tomorrow's a big day, so I really don't know what to expect in this town, but I don't think it's too big. I think it's mostly going to be this kind of size. I like the style road though. We got the canopy trees, another 4-lane main road. It's kind of funny, when we were on the highway between the cities, it was mostly 1 lane, but now we're in the city and it's opened up, but not too much traffic right now here in the city. So it looks like this is the center of the town. Not too big. Little downtown area here. Ooh, what's going on here? Watch out for kids running in the middle of the road. Little market on the side of the street. Yep, pretty glad we're finishing our ride right now because it looks like rain over that way. The hotel said they had an elevator, but of course it's out of order right now. So we gotta walk our bike up the stairs. That's all right. We made it to our hotel for tonight. So first things first, we're gonna shower, then go get some food. So we finished our shower. We're walking around town and grabbing some food. So we're gonna grab some banh mi, but that's not gonna be our dinner. That's gonna be our second dinner in case we get hungry later tonight, because I have a feeling a lot of these places will close early, but they got a cool little downtown area and actually a lot more shops than I was expecting. So tomorrow morning, we're heading out of town this way, and then we're turning right at that next intersection. And we're on the main street right now, but you can see if we turn off right here, they have this huge market area with a bunch of different stuff for sale. A lot of produce, a lot of clothes and stuff. So we're mainly getting dinner right now. We might stock up on some bananas for tomorrow, but I'm actually really surprised at how big this market is. It just goes on forever and ever. I'm glad we ordered these when we did, because this place started to get pretty busy after we came here. 32,000. Oh, yeah, sweet. They've also got a cute little bike shop here on the side street. No adult-sized bikes, unfortunately. So for our main dinner, we're gonna get some bun thit nung, which is one of our favorite foods here. So this is a noodle dish without a broth. It's really easy to eat, just simple bun noodles, some vegetables, and some meat. And it's really good. They also usually add some peanuts in there as well, and some celery. So here we go. We got a bunch of stuff in here. We got some cucumber and a bunch of other ingredients. I'm not quite sure what they are, but usually bun thit nung is one of my favorites. We also got an extra egg for some extra protein. So really excited for tonight's dinner. And we get to eat right here on the side of the street as the sun starts to set. And we get to listen to all the trucks with their glorious horns. Oh, that's funny. He's coming to pick up his food. Vietnamese drive-thru. Good? Thumbs up. All right, I'm gonna dig in too, guys. So this bun thit nung was really good. We ended up finishing ours. We ordered a third one that we're gonna share. And it was a little bit spicy, so we wanted to get some drinks. Luckily, there was a drink stand right across the street. So what did you get?
You guess what flavor?
Carrot and pineapple,
Pineapple, okay?
papaya,
No,
pumpkin,
no. Mix.
carrot and apple,
No. Carrot and orange.
carrot and orange. Ah, 2 orange. Carrot orange. Oh, interesting.
Not too much orange.
It's weird. It's good, but weird. Anyway, guys, I think we're gonna finish up this video here. We're gonna relax and enjoy the rest of our night. So really glad that we finished a little bit earlier today so we can go back to the hotel room, work on editing some of videos, and prepare for tomorrow's big day, cycling along the Ho Chi Minh Highway. And yeah, it's gonna be a big climbing day tomorrow. So we've officially finished with more than half of our tour, our bikepacking tour. We've only got 2 more days to go, and we'll be back in Da Nang. So thanks as always. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. Thanks to your guys' support, we're able to do this bike tour and film videos like this. So a big thank you to all of you guys for your support. And before you go, give the video a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time here on Tumo Cruise. Welcome to part 5 of our Central Vietnam bike tour. In today's video, we're going to be cycling along the Ho Chi Minh Highway into Kham Duc, And if you're new to this series, we've got our full playlist linked down below, so you can start with video 1 of our bike tour starting in Da Nang City. All of our route information is down below in the video description as well. Good morning, guys. Tour Cruise here with Thun Chan. We're starting day 5 of our Central Vietnam bikepacking tour, and we just left our hotel. Bikes are ready to go, and we are luckily right next to a market and a little shop here, so we picked up some snacks. We got some sports drink, some Pocari Sweat, and we're gonna be on a long highway today, so not sure how many food stops there'll be, so we grabbed a little bit of extra emergency calories. We got some Pokemon Oreos, so we're gonna try and find something real quick to eat and then head out on the road.
Let's go.
So here's a nice view of the market. A lot of people selling vegetables. We're gonna try and find some people selling fruits to get some bananas. Oh, unfortunately, seeing a lot of dogs in cages, so not a fan of that. Yeah, this market's pretty big actually. All right, perfect. Looks like Tung found some bananas. So now we just gotta find some bánh mì. How much?
5,000 dirham for banana.
Oh, very cheap. So unfortunately, the bánh mì place we went to last night was closed, so they're not open in the morning, and so we couldn't find our breakfast bánh mì, and we're just gonna continue on and start our ride. We got our bananas for now. We'll find some more food later, hopefully. So today, we're riding up to Kham Duc, mostly along the Ho Chi Minh Highway, so very excited to test out this road. It's a place I've been curious to see in person myself, and I'm curious to see how good it is for bike touring. I heard it's a little busy with trucks, but we'll see. I think it changes depending on the area you're at, so some areas is gonna be better than others. So an update on our equipment, everything is running pretty good. My bike is still making some mysterious sound. Oh, luckily we found some bánh mì here, so perfect. So perfect, we found a nice little, every time I try to speak, something happens. So we found a nice little bánh mì spot here, right as we're exiting out the city, so that worked out perfectly. But everything is going good with our bikes. My bike still is making a little bit of a ticking sound, but it doesn't seem to be anything too major. It doesn't seem to be affecting the performance, so we're still going strong there. Last night's hotel was very, very good. Probably the worst one on our trip so far. What didn't you like?
Lucy Payata.
In English,
I don't know English.
many bugs.
Many bugs. And if you just see, they don't have the shower, body shower, body.
Okay, she wants me to talk. So the problem with the hotel was, first, the room that they gave us smelled really bad, just like pure smoke. We asked for a non-smoking room, which apparently they didn't have, so we went, luckily we found one that didn't smell too bad. And then there were a lot of bugs in the room, which was kind of gross. And one thing I've learned, and this is with all hotels here in Vietnam, not just these cheaper ones, at the nicer one we stayed at before, is they usually don't have any soap. So no like hand soap to wash your hands or anything like that. They usually just give you small little packets of shampoo and body wash. But this last one, they just gave us a pack of shampoo, so not even any body wash. And I don't know, it's just how it is here. There's no soap. That's one thing we learned to definitely bring on our next trip here in Vietnam, is bring some bar soap. We did bring some rubbing alcohol, so we're pretty good there, but it would be nice to have soap for other situations. So I think this is the cause of the noise that's been happening on the bike. This cable, it seems to be, the brake cable seems to be hitting one of the cables inside the frame. So when we hit bumps and stuff, it makes that sound. So I'm trying to tighten this up with some electric tape, and hopefully that'll stop the sound. We'll see. Crossing our fingers. Yeah, this is a little bit too long, but it's all right. We'll get this fixed later when we get back into Da Nang and get to the bike shop. No more sound when I try and test it. Let's see if it works on the road. And the pedals aren't hitting, we should be pretty clear. Anyway, for our next hotel, we decided to go to a little bit nicer of a place, and we're pretty excited to check it out, but also very excited for today's breakfast. Some nice egg bánh mì. All right, we got our breakfast, some bánh mì. I got an egg one, Thun got her pork. Itadakimasu. Huh? Nothing. So banh mi, one of the best foods to get in Vietnam for cycling. Very simple sandwich. They have Vietnamese flavors, but they also got some nice foreigner-friendly flavors. If you just want something simple, you can get an egg one like me. And back on the road. Today's breakfast is pretty solid, so feeling good. We got our breakfast, we got our drinks, we got our Oreos and bananas. We should be set for a while. And it's nice and cloudy today, so not too hot. It does look like there's a few rain clouds here and there, but hopefully we won't get stuck in any big rain. We've been really lucky avoiding the rain so far. Here we go. Mo, Ho Chi Minh Highway ni haita? Hey, kore Ho Chi Minh Highway? Oh. So I just asked Tung if we're already on the main highway, and she said yes, so I didn't quite realize we were already on it. So unfortunately, yeah, it looks like it's only a 2-lane highway, one on each direction, and barely any shoulder here. So this definitely looks like it's one of the more dangerous sections, but not too much traffic. Just a few trucks here and there. We got a police car here. I've seen more police cars during this bike touring trip than I have in our entire time living in Da Nang, Vietnam. It's crazy, especially in the mountain areas. Maybe they're just more visible because there's less traffic. So we're about 220K from Da Nang. So we could do this in one day if we really felt crazy, but we're splitting it up into two because we think there's going to be a decent amount of climbing today, a lot of up and down. When I created the route in Strava, it said there'd be 2,000 meters of climbing today, so we'll see. I don't think it's going to be that much, but it's mostly little rollers like this. But today, I'm pretty sure there's no flat roads. It's just going to be constant up and down. And then we have two sort of bigger climbs near the end of the ride. So it's pretty interesting to see the road like this. Yep, endless beeping. I was expecting it to be more of like a highway, but this is pretty much just a typical Vietnamese road. I mean, just a lot of businesses and houses on the side and a lot of trucks passing through. It's the same as Tung's hometown. So we're pretty used to these style of roads, but yeah, I do kind of wish there was a little bit more of a shoulder like there were on all the other roads we were here. Oh, Tung said that was an avocado tree. She's been pretty excited. She always likes to spot different kinds of plants and stuff while we're on the road. We saw a bunch of pepper plants, and she's been spotting a couple avocado trees lately. But yeah, so far first impressions of the Ho Chi Minh Highway just seems like a typical like Vietnamese town kind of road. Today might get a little bit tiring with all that honking. It's fine right now because it's the beginning of the ride, but when you're 5 hours into a ride and you're tired and you got those big trucks just passing you, those horns are seriously so loud. It doesn't matter how many times you hear it, it shakes your whole body. It's crazy how loud they are. And of course, no tailwind today, another slight head crosswind. But that's all right, we're used to it by now. So we're starting to get out of civilization, and it's starting to look more like a highway now. Beautiful mountains in the distance. Nice and cool today. Before we continue with the video, we have one quick little announcement. We just enabled our channel memberships here on YouTube. So if you're interested in helping support our channel, you can become a channel member. We also do have our Patreon page, and on both Patreon and channel memberships, you get early access to videos, so you're the first one to watch them. And we also respond to all of your guys' comments. Anyway, that's it, and back to the video. So we're about 20K into our ride, and we found some windmills. This is my first time seeing windmills here in Vietnam, so this is pretty exciting to see. We've also been seeing a few smaller solar farms.
Me too.
Tung's first time also?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. We're getting pretty tired of hearing that beeping. Luckily there's not too many trucks. We're only getting passed by a few here and there, so it's not too bad, but when they pass, oh man, they shake your entire body. That horn is really loud. You like Vietnamese trucks?
No, thank you.
That cloud is looking pretty ominous, but fortunately around it, it's not too bad. It's just one little dark cloud. We're making our way pretty close to the windmills now though, so pretty cool to see them up close. I'm really surprised we haven't seen more of them, and that mountain that one in the center is on is pretty cool looking too. They're not moving though, so it's not windy enough today, I guess. Actually, we passed a few trucks doing some construction work on some of these power poles. There were some on both the left side and on the right side, so I'm thinking they're installing some new power lines, and maybe those windmills are pretty new as well, and they're just waiting for everything to get installed for the grid over here. That's just my guess though. We've been seeing a few of these buildings with this tall, very steep roof structure, and Tung didn't know what it was at first, but she looked it up, and I guess it's used as the cultural center for a lot of the mountain tribes here. So it's not the standard type that people just use for their house. But yeah, we can see the new power lines here, and then the old ones here. Maybe they're doing an upgrade on everything. We're almost at our halfway point, and we just passed into this little town here. So we figured we'd stop for some food, because after this we're heading deeper into the mountains, I guess, so there'll be less places for us to stop. We found a nice little restaurant here, and we just ordered our food. Some restaurants, they don't sell drinks, but luckily there's a little drink and snack shop next door, so we bought some drinks over there. We'll bring them over here, so that's something you can do at a lot of restaurants here, is bring other drinks into the restaurant. Tung's getting the fan set up. So our food just arrived. We just got a nice little rice plate with some meat, some vegetables, and eggs. Another perfect meal to continue our ride. All right, itadakimasu. This guy came here to get a free meal. So Tung went to go grab us some extra drinks. We're about to head in the mountains. We're not sure when the next snack shop will be. We're not sure when we'll be able to buy stuff again, so we're loading up. The usual combo, revive and water. So we're just starting our ride, and the bike is still making the sound that wasn't it. I'm really not sure what it is, but it seems to be getting a little worse, but not too bad. It stops sometimes when we're pedaling longer on some longer uphills. It seems okay. Then it's just really random. I can't figure out what it is, but we can't stop, so we're gonna keep going, and hopefully it's not an issue. The lady at the shop said it's gonna be raining in the afternoon sometime, so we want to try and make some good time so we don't get stuck in the rain in the mountains again. We still got another good 2.5 to 3 hours. It'll be pretty similar up down like before, but we do have two bigger, I think about 200-meter climbs that we got to do today as well. That's really strange. It was really loud for a minute there, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. I don't know. My guess is the bottom bracket, something in the bottom bracket was loose, but maybe it popped back in place. I don't know. I'm not going to question. I'm pretty happy it quieted down now. That's one less thing to worry about. Hopefully it stays that way. So today we're just taking a really quick lunch break. We don't want to take any risks with the weather. We got really good weather right now, and we don't want to get rained on, but it is tough to get started again right after just filling your stomach. But in terms of weather, I would say today's ride is probably the best one of our longer rides. The best weather was when we had our little day ride around Mang Den. That was a really short, just 1 hour ride though. So today's been really good. Nice cloudy weather, a bit cooler and not too hot. The only problem with this ride is there are some areas where there's a lot of trucks, but luckily it hasn't been that way the whole way. There were a few good sections after the first 40 kilometers where it just got a lot more rural, and we didn't see really many cars or trucks or anything. So it's been pretty good and bad in some places. we get to see some interesting stuff we don't normally get to see. A lot of beautiful areas back here. Hello. The kids here have been very energetic. Everyone's saying hello and use correct lane. I will say this ride has definitely been the most dangerous of our trip so far. I wouldn't say it's been like extremely dangerous, but there have been a lot of big trucks, a lot of big buses that do pass pretty closely. The roads are a lot more narrow, so there's a lot less room for them to move. And especially on these mountain roads, there's been a lot of cars and vehicles that sort of cut the corners, and a couple of them were pretty dangerous. Unfortunately, I don't always have my camera out, but there was one truck that was coming out the bottom of the hill into the flat road area, and I swear if he was just a little bit faster, he was flipping over. One of his wheels went off the ground and it was right in front of us. It was pretty scary. So you got to be extra careful if you're cycling out here on these roads. The drivers are pretty careful and cautious around the cyclists. They always beep to let you know they're coming, but still they are a little bit intimidating, and some drivers make some reckless moves. Oh man, climbing after lunch. Tung must be feeling good, she's dropping me. The other interesting thing on this road is we've been seeing a lot more gas stations. And yeah, these giant buses are the worst. We've been seeing a bunch of them pass the slower trucks and going into the left lane for long periods of time in the corners, just making stupid, reckless moves. That's why I do not recommend riding on the highway buses here in Vietnam if you can help it. They are extremely bad, extremely dangerous, and it's really nauseating when you're riding in them too. I just consider them death traps, especially the sleeper buses. The noise came back. Oh well. Here we go, guys. The first big climb of today. Although it's not that big, it's only, I think, 250 meters for the first one, and then we descend a bit, and then we do a similar climb again. So we got two medium-sized climbs today, but of course the sun comes out right now, so we get to bask in the nice hot sunlight for our torture climb with our bellies full. The gradient is a little bit steep in some places. We're at 9-10% right now, but other parts it's only 5-6, so kind of a little mixed bag. Wow, they got a bunch of tires along this corner. There must have been quite a few accidents over here. We finally finished our two big climbs for the day, and we found this crazy surprise up here in the top of the mountain. So I guess this bus caught on fire and there is nothing left here. This is insane. You can even still see on the side of the road, this is all glass. So got to be careful with our bike tires, but nothing left here. This is insane. It also looks like this was a sleeper bus, so I'm pretty sure there must have been some casualties here. The way the bus drivers drive on this road is horrible. Which is better, truck driver or the bus driver?
Truck driver.
Is better?
Yeah.
What do you think of the bus drivers?
So crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. I don't want to move inside Vietnam by bus anymore.
No more.
No more.
Yeah, they're insane.
Yeah.
All right, now we get to downhill
Yeah.
into Kham Duc.
Yeah.
Still about 35k to go, so maybe another hour and a half.
Yeah. I hope the weather.
Yeah, no rain,
No rain.
hopefully. And just when we turned the corner around from the bus, we came across this beautiful sight. Wow. Nice little waterfall.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
A perfect
Swimming.
place. Go swimming. Yeah, I don't know about that. Let's see if we can get a little closer. I did think about bringing my bathing suit, but so far, every river that we've passed, I would not want to swim in. They look pretty dirty. Oh, interesting. Looks like there's a little canopy area there so you can have picnics or something. Wow, that does look pretty comfy though. You could definitely sit right inside that area and just relax underneath the waterfall. That does look really nice. Tung said if you touch this flower, it gets smaller. Let's see.
Oh no.
Oh wow, yeah. They do shrink down a little bit. That's pretty crazy. Wow. What's that flower?
I don't know in English.
Okay. Do you want to eat Oreo?
Yeah.
This would be a good little snack spot. We can eat our Pokemon Oreos with the nice ASMR waterfall. We got roulette. And next we got Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur's name in Japanese is Fushigi Dane.
Made in Indonesia.
Not in Vietnam.
Not in Vietnam.
And next I got Charmander, my favorite Pokemon.
Really? Is it there?
In Japanese, Charmander is Hitokage. Do you know? No, you didn't watch Pokemon.
I just know Pokemon.
You know Pikachu.
Yeah, I know Pikachu.
So unfortunately, the entire downhill, and for a while after the downhill now, the roads have been pretty horrible. I was hoping we'd be able to make up some good time on the downhill, but it's all just rough, cracked pavement everywhere. So we were on our brakes the entire descent, just bumping around everywhere. And so our average speed has stayed a little bit lower. We still have a couple up downs, and now we're actually preferring the uphills because the downhills are pretty rough just on our hands with the brakes and our legs just from sitting and not being able to pedal. But yeah, it's a rough ride back here, and also a lot of trucks. So this part of the ride not too enjoyable, but on the bright side, there's a lot of greenery. Not any shops here though, so if you're riding this way, make sure you stock up on food and drinks before you get stuck back here for a while. Did you like that downhill, Tung?
No, I like climb.
You like climbing now?
Yeah. My
Yeah.
relax is climbing.
Yeah, we can relax on the climb. No relaxing on these downhills.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we finally made it to Kham Duc. This is our final stop we're staying at for our trip. And tomorrow we're heading back to our home in Da Nang. Really happy to get off of that highway. Ever since the big climb, it's just been up and down with giant cracks in the road, potholes everywhere, and it's been super rough. So we thought we normally get our brakes on the downhill, but this time it hurt more to go downhill. So we were always looking forward to the climbs, but finally we're here in this little town. So we're on some different roads, and the quality of the roads are back to normal again. So really, really happy to be off of that road. Hopefully tomorrow it's not like that, but even if it is, we're only on that road for the beginning part of the ride, I think, so shouldn't be too bad. It's about 5:45 p.m. right now, so just a little bit before sunset. Nice and cool right now. And we got 110 kilometers in for today's ride, about 1,500, 1,600 meters of climbing. Our average speed did drop down to 19. I was hoping to stay above 20, but with our low speeds on the downhills and this last part of the road, there's not too much we can do about that. I am liking this little road right here. We got nice canopies on both sides and lots of green all around. I guess this is also a pretty popular tourist kind of like retreat, weekend getaway kind of destination. So don't know too much about it, but we're gonna be staying at a nicer little guest house tonight. So looking forward to that. We're turning off here, heading into the town now. So we were just on the outskirts before. And okay, nice. We did also just stop at a Nuc Mia sugarcane juice shop right when we entered the city because we both ran out of water about an hour ago and just wanted to drive it into town. So we really needed something to drink, so that was nice and refreshing. And now we're rushing to our hotel, and then hopefully we'll find a nice little restaurant to eat at tonight. Ooh, check out that green hotel. That's pretty cool looking. Green hotel. Tuing knows the way, so it looks like we're turning off to this little side street. And this place is actually a lot more developed and bigger than I was expecting, which is good. That means there's more restaurant options, but ooh, nice little cute side street here. Flowers, very nicely decorated, very clean. I'm liking this town already. We're still slightly at elevation, I think, just about 300, 400 meters though, so not too much.
Oh, sorry.
All right, we finally made it. Otsukare-sama deshita.
Otsukare.
Are you tired from today's ride?
Yeah, I'm so tired.
Ready to shower?
Yep.
Clean up, go get some dinner?
Yep.
Here's a quick tour of our room. Got a little bed here. We got a fan here. We got a little baby lizard here. Air conditioning check. And they got some moon and stars ceiling design. Got a little table here. We got a nice drying rack here. And we got a very, very big bathroom. So we got the shower here and the toilet there. That's a quick tour for today. We're gonna shower, get cleaned up, go grab some dinner. So we're walking around trying to find a place for dinner, and we came across an interesting party. There's always a party in Vietnam. And for dinner, we're gonna do something different today. We're getting some bánh xèo, which is called Vietnamese pancakes. I'm not quite sure how to explain it. It's kind of like a doughy kind of structure, and inside they got shrimp and stuff. It's really good. And so you get some rice paper like this, you throw some vegetables in there. Tuong's gonna do this because she's the expert. That's why it helps to have a Vietnamese wife. They'll make your wraps for you. So they'll just hand it to you and then you can eat it. They'll do all the hard work. Okay. I'm really bad at it. Every time I try, I fail, and she'll get upset with how badly I'm doing, and just say, "Let me do it."
It's so easy to make. You can do it.
No, I can't. You have to help.
You don't need Vietnamese wife to help you.
Please help. Help me.
Again? What?
Help me.
Please.
You're so good.
I know.
Tuong was also pretty excited to see this tissue style holder here. She said that it reminded her family used to do the same type in their restaurant in her hometown. So I guess they just put the tissue and slam it right in here on top of the nail. So we got some fish sauce here to dip.
And,
Ooh, and
peanuts.
peanut sauce. I like the peanut sauce. That's the one I want to try. But it really depends. It's really different depending on which restaurant you go to. They all make it a little differently.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
cheers. Let's give it a try. One for me, one for Tuong. Good?
Good.
Thumbs up. Peanut sauce good?
Different flavor.
Yeah, always different.
Yeah.
We never get the same flavor twice.
And fish sauce.
Fish sauce.
Okay.
Which do you like better?
Fish sauce.
Fish sauce. You're true Vietnamese.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try the fish sauce first. good. We put a little ginger in the fish sauce, which is a nice touch. Usually the fish sauce flavor is like always the same, but this one's a little different, which is nice. So I'll try some of the peanut sauce next. It is different. It's always different. Pretty good though. I like both though. It's nice to switch between the back and forth. Good morning, guys. Tua Cruz here with Tuan Chan. We're on day 6 of our Central Vietnam bikepacking tour. Our last day.
Yeah.
We're cycling from Kham Duc to our home in Da Nang.
Yeah.
So it's been a long week, over 600 kilometers, and I don't even want to think about how much climbing. But today we don't have too much climbing, just a little bit of up, down, and then some flat roads back into the city. So we just packed up our bikes, we're getting ready to go, and we were checking out of our homestay, and they were kind enough to cook us some breakfast. So we got our banh mi sandwich here. So pretty happy about that. That was a nice surprise. We got a nice egg banh mi, and Tuang was talking with the owner, and I guess all the ingredients in this banh mi were grown here. So they got the egg from here, all the vegetables. So we got a nice local egg banh mi for breakfast. This place is really nice. It's really clean, nice and spacious to put our bikes, and the bathroom was really, really nice. So this was a perfect spot to stay for our last night here, and especially after our hotel from the previous night. That was really rough, really dirty place. So anyway, we're gonna eat our breakfast and then we're gonna get on the road. So we're just now starting our ride. We're cycling around town here in Kham Duc, just grabbing some necessary supplies, some sports drink. We got our bananas. We're set to go. I'm not too worried about today's ride. Today's course should be pretty easy for us. It is a little bit longer, 125K, but half of it's gonna be flat, and the second half, we're heading back into our home area of Da Nang. So hopefully things will go pretty smooth. There's some chance for some rain in the afternoon, so hopefully we'll make some good time. But Kham Duc is a pretty nice small town here. I was actually pretty surprised at how big it is. We had some fun last night. We walked around town. There was a big party going on. We got some good food. There were some nice people. And yeah, that's where the party was last night. And it's kind of funny because last night I was under the impression it was actually a little bit cooler here, because it was 3 degrees Celsius cooler than it was at the same time in Da Nang, Vietnam, which I don't think that's the case anymore, because the sun's out right now and it is hot. So today's gonna be another hot day. Tuang's got her face mask on. We're excited to get home, relax. So we got the gate out of the city. It's a pretty interesting design. Oh wow, nice big main road here. Wow, some of the cities here just do a really good job with their center guard area. Look at all these flowers, and this is the government building area, that's why. Okay, so we're already back on the Ho Chi Minh Road, the Ho Chi Minh Highway. This is the road that we came in through last night, but we took the southern entrance into the city. And now we're exiting from the northern part. And unfortunately last night, the last 40 kilometers or so heading into town was just really rough, really bad concrete, lots of cracks everywhere. So we were able to climb it fine, but every time we had to go on a downhill, it was just really rough and we had to be on the brakes all the time. So Tuang's hands were really hurting last night just from all the rough pavement, from all the rough concrete, and having to brake all the time. Oh wow, got another cool big memorial over here. So we're hoping it's not like that anymore, but yeah, we're leaving the city and it's already, oh my, I feel like I'm in Michigan. All these rough roads. Hopefully it's not like this for too long. We really wanted to be on some smooth roads today to make some good time. Riding these rough roads on road bike tires is not fun. All right, bye city. Always nice to start the ride with a big climb under the sun after we have breakfast and we're tired from a week of big rides. That's all right though. Today's profile is going to be mostly downhill, some up down, but mostly downhill as we're descending back down to sea level. We're only at about 300, 400 meters right now, so still we get about 400 meters of descending, which will be nice and hopefully keep the speed up. So we were starting to get pretty worried, seeing some dark clouds all around us. And luckily we made it to our just about halfway point, our rest stop, right as the rain started coming down. We made our way into the city border and we started sprinting, trying to find a restaurant. This is a little town called Tat Mi. And yeah, there's not many places open here, but luckily we saw the sign for rice. We got some nice cover from the rain, so we're gonna chill out and rest here. Today was really hot for the beginning of the ride. Super hot again. But one good thing about the rain coming is the clouds start to come in, which drops the temperature quite a bit. So we're gonna chill out here at this restaurant, get some food and cool off and wait for the rain to pass. We ordered some drinks, but unfortunately, one bad thing with some of the restaurants here is when you go to order drinks, none of them are refrigerated, so they'll usually have a glass and some ice, so you have to wait for it to cool off a little bit, but that's pretty common here. It's fine with stuff like Coca-Cola, but they also do the same thing with the beers. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate, but we'll wait for this to cool down a little bit and then hopefully our food will be here pretty soon. Tung's not gonna wait. We need those sweet calories. How's today's ride? Easy? Yeah. Easy ride?
Except the weather.
Except the weather, yeah. It's hot, hot, hot. We've been spoiled by the slightly cooler mountain weather lately, and now we're at the sea level, crazy hot weather here. Yeah. It's not raining too much, just a little. The other unfortunate thing here is once it starts to get a little bit later, the menu starts to get really limited. A lot of these places, they just make a set portion for the day, and when they sell out, they sell out. So it's about 1 o'clock here. That's a little bit late for lunch for people here. But luckily, they still had a few pieces of meat left. So pretty simple chicken rice, pork rice today. And today's rice is a little bit more yellow. So nothing too fancy. This whole bike tour powered by chicken rice and Coca-Cola. All right, itadakimasu.
Itadakimasu.
So we got a tray here with some chopsticks, and it comes with some free cigarettes. Lovely. We also got our soy sauce and our chili sauce. Which do you like, pork rice or chicken rice? Chicken rice. Yeah. Oh. So she's gonna take my chicken.
We can. I like chicken.
So we actually changed our mind. We're not going to rest here for very long because it didn't rain as much as we thought it would. And looking at the radar, it looks like it's going to get pretty crazy in a little bit. So we're going to try and make as much progress now as we can and hopefully dodge this rain. We'll see. We've only got about 60 more K into Da Nang. And of course, we're going to be fighting a nice strong headwind the whole way into town. This whole trip, every day, I swear, we've had a nasty, fun headwind. But anyway, ready to go?
Yep. Let's continue.
It is pretty crazy though. Our cycle computer is saying 27 degrees right now. And earlier during the ride, it was showing 38, 39, so we've already had a 10 plus Celsius drop, which is pretty crazy. Hopefully this isn't too crazy of a storm. Oi, oi! Almost the majority of motorbike drivers here will go to do a U-turn. They won't even look behind them, they'll just pull out in front of you. And that's why so many trucks and bikes beep here, because people just make stupid moves. One other small unfortunate thing during today's ride, my power meter pedals battery finally died, which is also kind of crazy because normally I only charge that once a month, and that lasts me for my normal amount of riding per month. And I charged it right before this trip, and it died just about a third of the way through today's ride. So almost made it the whole trip, but I'm amazed. I've never gone through the entire battery of that thing in a week before. But that's all right. I'm glad it worked for the majority of the trip. And I still got my heart rate data, so we know we're keeping the pace nice and steady. We've been really lucky it hasn't been raining too much on us during this trip. On one hand, it's been so hot on some days we were wishing it'd rain, but I mean, honestly, rain is never fun, especially the cleanup afterwards. I don't mind riding in the rain at all, but I really don't enjoy having to clean my bike and dry it off and do all of that after each ride. But for today's ride, I don't mind because today's the end of the trip, so we can take our time and relax back at our home. Those kids' reactions have been priceless. It doesn't matter where we are, whenever there's a little group of kids that sees us, they always freak out. Hello. For the most part, they just say hello like that. But there were a few interesting ones. There was one kid that said goodbye. I guess he didn't have enough time to say hello, so he just said goodbye as we passed by. So that left a pretty good impression. So we're still going a little bit north right now, and then we're going to be making our way northeast. Hang up, Plei. See you again. Back into the wilderness. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I don't think we'll get rain over this direction. The other nice thing about this route so far is there hasn't been very much truck traffic at all. So it's been pretty good, minus the heat. A lot of cool views along the rivers. And I think this is one of our last little hills. Of course, there's always a hill right after our lunch break. いつもご飯のあった坂がある。
Heavy, I'm heavy.
Hello. Hello. This is actually a cool little climb. A lot of nice people. A lot of nice people on this climb. Pretty scenic too. Nice canopy road. Not too steep of a gradient. I think that's our last big climb. Or I shouldn't say big climb, but our last kind of little, maybe Cat 4 climb for today. And now after this downhill, should be mostly flat. Maybe a few small rollers though. Woo! One other interesting thing we found in the mountains here was they had a little pineapple mountain. We noticed we were passing a bunch of small shops that all had like a pyramid of pineapples in front of them. So we were wondering, why are all these places selling pineapples? And then Tung saw a little hill in the distance with a bunch of pineapple plants. And so we figured it out. They're growing a bunch of pineapples back here. This is actually a really beautiful area too, and would only be about a 120 kilometer round trip ride from Da Nang out here and back. So I might have to do this again one more time before I leave on my road bike. The road's pretty smooth for the most part, a little bumpy in some sections, but not too bad. No big potholes or anything like that. The road is pretty wet here though, so it must have rained quite a bit before we came in here, so we got really lucky with our lunch break timing. Looks like it's gonna work out perfectly, and we might have clear skies all the way to Da Nang. Minna oshiko shiteru no video. Yeah, wow, this area is really cool actually. We don't normally ride over too far this way. This is closer to Hoi An, so a little bit south of Da Nang. I don't think there's any roads going up these mountains, but man, do they look massive from over here. So we're finally back in some familiar territory. We're in Ha Nha, which is about 45 kilometers southwest of Da Nang. We've ridden down to here one time before, so from here on out we should be on some familiar roads back into Da Nang, and it's nice to say goodbye to the mountains. We'll have some nice smooth flat roads, but of course we do got to deal with this headwind once we turn right up here. But that's all right. Not too much further to go. The only problem with this road is lots of trucks here in this section. But up until we got to this point, it was really nice. Really smooth roads, very few trucks. But from here on out, there just seems to be a lot more trucks. That's all right though. We're getting off on some side roads here pretty soon. Wow, does it feel good to be back on some local, familiar roads. We're back here in Da Nang City, just a few kilometers away from home. And we've been really lucky today. It started sprinkling just a little bit, but we could see the edge of the rain cloud, so we were sort of sprinting, keeping up a high pace to stay on the edge so we didn't get drenched. A lot of the roads are pretty wet though, so our bikes have been getting pretty dirty, but for the most part, we've been staying pretty dry. And it felt so good to be back on the smooth roads too. We managed to keep a pretty nice average today, almost 24 kilometers an hour. And our goal for the ride time today was 5.5 hours, and we're a bit under that now. So we made some really good time today. We're passing Sun World here. And yeah, it's really nice to be back on our roads that we're really familiar with. We're in the home stretch now, almost back to our apartment. And not gonna lie, pretty tired after a long week. The riding itself hasn't been too bad. It's more so the elements. The sun has been really hot and some of the roads have been pretty rough, but for the most part, we've been keeping all of our rides pretty steady tempo, steady heart rate, staying in zone 1, zone 2. This trip has been amazing. I'm really excited to go home, rest, get some food, sleep, and then just reflect on it over the next few days and edit all these videos. We saw so many amazing views along the way. Was able to see a different part of Vietnam that neither of us have seen before, so really glad we decided to do this trip before we move to the US. I'm heading back to the US myself here in just about 2.5 weeks, so I'm gonna enjoy my last little bit of riding here on the road bike. We're on the city side of Da Nang right now, so we got some big government buildings over here, and we got a big monument over here. We live more on the beach side, so we're going to be crossing over one of the bridges here in just a second, getting away from this busy city traffic. But it does feel good to be back in the city, back with all the conveniences. We know where everything is here, so it's really easy for us to find the food that we want. It was pretty easy for us to find food during the trip, especially simple things like chicken rice and pho noodles and stuff like that. But I've had my fill of chicken rice for a while, so we're gonna have something different for dinner tonight, I think. So what do you think of today's ride, Chun-chan?
Today?
I'm okay, but no
clean, but look at me.
Dirty?
Dirty.
Yeah, she's been riding behind me. Even though I have the fenders, she gets still a little dirty. And what did you think of the whole bike trip? 6 days, bikepacking trip.
I think I can do better more than I thought.
Yeah,
And I think I'm stronger.
yeah. Stronger now?
Yeah,
After 1 week of big riding?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is your biggest week of cycling ever. And what did you think about the mountains in Vietnam? Is different?
Yeah, no. What is different?
You've never been to the mountains in Vietnam?
Yeah.
We saw a new West Vietnam, the mountains Vietnam.
Yes.
Were you surprised?
Yes. So beautiful.
What was the most surprising or interesting part of the trip?
Yesterday, the downhill. That's surprise for me.
The crazy downhill?
Yes, crazy downhill.
Yeah. But that's not good surprise. What about good surprise? What was the best part?
The hill climb to Mang Den.
Yeah.
The beautiful view, mountain view.
Beautiful view?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say for me, the highlight of the trip was Mang Den as well. The little mountain town, nice and quiet, a lot cooler temperature there, and just beautiful surrounding area, beautiful views everywhere. And I would have loved to have gone there for a couple weeks to train. The roads there are perfect, and I regret that we didn't know about it earlier. But we're nearing our home. We live just on the other side of Dragon Bridge here. So this is the tail side of the Dragon Bridge, the city side. We're gonna cross over here and make our way home and order some food. The nice thing about living in the city is we can use the food delivery apps here. So we don't have to leave our apartment tonight. We can relax. We deserve it after this long week. Jeez, this guy is crazy. Tried to cut on the inside in a wet corner. That'd be pretty horrible if he ends up being our delivery driver for food tonight. The other funny thing is, this is our last hill of the bike tour. Home sweet home.
Yeah.
We finally made it home and we grabbed a quick little snack. Luckily, we got a little taiyaki shop right next to our place, so that's one of our favorite snacks from Japan. And unfortunately, it is a Vietnamese version, so it's not as good. It's maybe, what, non-percento?
50, 40.
Yes? Sanju.
Really? Just 30?
Tung says it's 40% as delicious as a Japanese taiyaki. I think it's like 25%, 30%. Yeah, it's...
No, this way.
It doesn't look anything like Japanese taiyaki, and it's a lot thinner, and there's a lot less filling, and it's not really crispy. But it still has the red bean. It still tastes like a waffle. So yeah, we have continued construction right next to our house, so that's why you keep hearing banging. So yay, good to be home. Hopefully they're not working until 1 a.m. tonight, so we can get some sleep. In Vietnam, they can do construction till 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna eat our taiyaki and take a shower
Shower.
and order some real food
Yes.
and sleep. Yep. So anyway, guys, we're pretty tired, so we're not gonna talk too much right now. Thank you for following along on our series. I'll add the playlist up here and in the video description if you wanna see all of our videos from this trip. And especially a big thank you to our supporters on Patreon. Thanks to your guys' support, we were able to make this video possible. Thanks for watching. Give the video a thumbs up before you go, and we'll see you next time here on Tubo Cruise.